everyone, and welcome to episode 36 of I Got Gameplay. It's 36, isn't it? I believe it is episode 36. Am I right?
36.
It is 36. Okay, I'm right. Thank heavens for that. I thought I was losing track of time because I've been working really hard as of late, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not even getting any R's here.
Burhan is the British James Brown. He's the hardest working man in internet culture.
Yes, but I get no money for it. So yeah, once I start getting paid for being the hardest working man in internet culture, I'll be happy. But I'm getting fans. I'm getting people like you guys, are gaming enthusiasts who are coming in and listening to stuff. So being on that, let's introduce you to our host for tonight. Now, we're missing two individuals at the moment, Miss Nikki Mills and Samantha Jennings. Hopefully, both of them will actually be on the show at some point. They've probably forgotten that the show starts at 8 p.m, but we will see. I will keep bothering them. Tonight, we have a man who has missed the show for a while and is now finally back. A gentleman by any other name, you'd just be lying. His name is Miguel Leon. Miguel, Mr. Nicey Kid. What have you been up to this week?
Mostly just cleaning. I had to take care of some really bad financial issues that came up. Apparently, I suffered a bit of the identity theft, so I've kind of been having to go through that.
Oh dear! What? Someone just stolen information from you?
Yeah, somebody swiped my credit card information and used it to buy some stuff off of a cam website.
Well, hey, so he's not just stealing from you; he's a pervert.
Yeah, all of a sudden I get an email saying, thank you for your purchase on, AsianCams.net, and I'm like, I've never been to that site.
Hey, he likes Chinese dishes.
Even if I did, I'm not dumb enough to actually buy something off of these things.
Yeah.
So I had to call my Discover manufacturer, and they got rid of those charges and are fixing my account so that I'm back to square one.
Ah, okay. Well, hopefully it's all right then.
It's probably going to be. It's irritating, but I'm okay with that. Other than that, I did just pick up a bunch of new comics. First 5 issues of Green Lantern Blackest Night. I'm going to read that sometime later.
Choice.
One of my favorites in the Jeff Jones saga.
I want to read the Jeff Jones saga, the entire one. I want to read Rebirth, Blackest Night, Sinestro Corps War. I really want to get into the Green Lantern, and I heard the Jeff Johns trilogy is probably the best way to go. Are you calling me again, Burhan?
I am not. Someone else is doing that. I don't know why. Do apologise for that. I think someone's probably trying to get a hold of us to see if it could be Samantha. So let's. No, she's not on yet, so can't be her. But yeah, so moving on that, we've got another gentleman. He has an epic beard, started on with fanboysanonymous.com quite recently, and has also opened up his own YouTube channel for gaming and loads of other stuff, and also to show us everything he has in his house. I'm actually quite jealous. He has a copy of Xenoblade that I want. And Xenogears, isn't it? Yeah, Xenogears for the PlayStation. Right. Yeah, I am totally jealous. That's the one game that got me into RPGs on the PSX. I love that game. It literally, if I can get my hands on a copy to call my own, I will die. So let's introduce him anyway. This is Mr. Travis Goss. Hello, Travis.
Hello. How's it going?
I'm good. What about you, my friend? What have you been up to today? Has it been a lazy day for you?
Pretty much, and not really a whole lot's been going on around here. Just I was just tweaking a few things on that video I posted on YouTube, and just learned more things about this wonderful website. And again, thank you guys for bringing me on. I love it.
Oh, it's great to have you on, my friend. It's one of my favorite things having you on the show.
Oh, well, thank you. Appreciate that.
And also, we have another Brit, a gentleman, excuse me, I seem to be coughing too much now, with another epic beard and a man himself who loves to play Pokemon and talk shite. It's Mr. Shaun Hennessy himself, Shaun Walker.
Hey. I've got a new PC, motherfuckers.
Yep, so you get to give more material now, because I keep missing your channel. I'm sitting there for a whole week waiting for the next episode of Pokemon Yellow to come out.
Sorry about that, bro.
I want to see Jester and Shaun Walker discuss Pokemon. Those two could probably have an epic conversation on it.
That'd be a good show.
Jester would just probably talk about his grammar throughout the whole thing. You're not defining the word properly. Also, what have you been up to though today, Shaun? What have you been up to? Have you been up to anything good apart from the PC things?
I've been recovering from a hangover, if that counts. Because I don't know whether or not you were listening to Smark Out Moment last night, but somebody was a tad drunk.
Well, I'll tell you something. You kind of hid that well, apart from the constant messaging me, of course.
Yeah.
You hid your drunkenness better than Braden hiding his highness. Or was that? Am I thinking of keeping kayfabe? I don't know.
Yeah, you're probably no, that's correct. Brandon's hiding his highness. You can hear him like totally baked on Geek Speak, which is another Mega Powers radio show. He is baked for everything. It's actually kind of fun, but on Geek Speak he was completely his attention span just went 360. 1 minute I'm discussing with him about something, and the next minute he's looking at Jessica Negri, remaining silent. I'm like, we're on the air live. So that's a fun thing. But also we have a lady who's becoming quite becoming the first lady of I Got Gameplay, basically. Well, she won't even call herself a lady. She probably actually more so calls herself a bloke. That's Nikki Mills. Nikki! How's it going?
How's it going? It's going. Very busy day, so it's nice to kind of sit down and relax.
What you been doing? You've been like, going around paying bills and stuff, or?
Yeah, that, and I had like a little lunch date today, / I guess if you want to consider playing New Leaf, very busy as well. I tried doing that while walking, and I accidentally ran into a pole today. So then Sam was like, it's time to stop, and he had to take my 3DS.
Yeah, right. You can play it in the car when you're not driving.
So, yeah.
Speaking of that, that's the topic of the show today. Is we're going to be talking a lot about Animal Crossing, from the game's refined first when it was actually debuted into Japan, all the way to a New Leaf. So if you like that and you want to tune in to check out what myself and everybody on the show thinks of the games, you can call us on 760-512-7247. That's 760-512-7247. Or you can join us on the chat or leave a tweet from me on Twitter at Michael Burhan. Or you can tweet all the other hosts if they want to give their Twitters out for you guys, and do that. So let's start for an old ICOT gameplay tradition and talk about gaming news. We'll start with the latecomer first, of course. Nikki, what's in the news this week?
Shit.
Quick, to IGN.
Things that I've been doing, or things that are happening in, like, the gaming community?
The gaming community, Nikki. We'll come to you in a little bit. Go on IGN or something and look for it. Go on, Travis. You got anything for us?
Well, last week the big news was about how Activision purchased its freedom from Vivendi. Well, you got a little bit of a follow-up. Shareholder sues Activision Blizzard over buyback from Vivendi.
Wow. Why are they getting sued for?
Well, we're going to get right into it. And the source comes from the Courthouse News Service, and this was posted on joystick.com. Activision Blizzard shareholder Todd Miller has filed a lawsuit over the company's recent purchase of Vivendi's 85% majority stake in Activision, Courthouse News Service reported this week. Miller's lawsuit against Vivendi, Activision, and its board of directors, including CEO Bobby Kotick, alleges a, quote, breach of fiduciary duties, I've never said that word before, waste of corporate assets, and unjust enrichment, the report states. The lawsuit also recalls Kotick's investor group's purchase of 172 million shares for $2.34 billion. Miller claims the sale granted the group a 10% discount on Activision's closing price and saved them $644 million, a move that served no apparent business purpose other than to aggrandize defendants Kotick and co-chairman Kelly and provide billions of dollars worth of Activision stock to the insider investor group at a discounted price. Miller requests that the court overturn the purchase and force Activision to take measures that, quote, prevent future one-side self-dealing.
All right, basically, in English, this the whole concept of this is the shareholders are supposed to agree to a buyout, and I think the thing about him is he didn't really agree to it, so now he's suing over it. So I think this sums it up.
Hold on to your butts.
No, that's
got us. We're pretty butthurt about it.
Yes, that's what he is. He's pretty butthurt about it. I can understand where he's coming from, but it's okay. You know, in the end, I hope Activision gets their names cleared from this, or he retains his certain stake that he has in the company. Maybe he loses his stake in Activision due to the buyout with Vivendi. So who knows? Anything else for us, Travis?
Since we talked about Capcom last week, I got another one here for you about Capcom, and that's profits decline in Capcom's first quarter financial results.
We knew this was going to happen.
Let's see, and the source does come from Capcom. Let's see. Capcom has posted its financial results for the first quarter of its fiscal 2014 calendar, and despite continued strong sales of its Resident Evil 5, what the hell is that word? Pachislo machine? I don't know what a Pachislo. It's spelled Pachislo.
Oh, I only know of pachinko machines.
Yeah, so do I. See, overall profits are down. When compared to the same period last year, profits were down about 37%, and that's 828 million yen, which is for us 8.4 million. In first quarter 2014 versus 1.32 billion yen, 13.4 million for us. In first quarter of 2013, the report says that these results are generally in line with the fiscal year targets, which predict profits of 6.8 billion yen, or $69.1 million, for the year in total. Capcom's major releases for the third... I can't get this damn word out today, damn it. For the third month period ending June 30th were the console/PC ports of Resident Evil Revelations and pseudo-expansion/re-release Dragon's Dogma Dark Horizon. Revelations performed best at retail out of the two, selling 900,000 units worldwide since the game's release on May 21st in North America. Meanwhile, Dark Horizon has sold 550,000 units since its release in on April 23rd. The documents made only brief mention of recent layoffs at the company, saying that, quote, reorganization is now underway in association with the prior year's business structural improvements. This was listed under growth strategy initiatives, which is business speak for how we're going to get that paper. This subsection also contained the document's sole mention of Monster Hunter 4's impending September 14th release in Japan.
Okay, so basically Capcom are not making much money at the moment because I equate this to negative consumer support of the company. But, you know, it happens. In terms of that, if you guys have got an opinion on it, do you think Capcom are going to pick themselves up from this, or is it just the lack of Mega Man games? Give us a call on 760-512-7247. That's 760-512-7247, or leave a message for us on our chat. We are live here on Blog Talk Radio, and let's open up to the forum here. What do you guys think of this whole Capcom thing? Miguel, we'll start with you.
Again now?
What do you think of this whole Capcom situation, that they're losing money?
It doesn't sound too dire. I mean, companies can have low points here and there. In fact, I'm actually reading an article about another Japanese company right now that seems to be going through a bit of a lull. But I think they're pulled through. I mean, like, one of the things I don't know if I mentioned before is Capcom's one of those big-time companies that really has tenure with the gaming community. it seems like unless something spectacular happens, they're not going to really fall out of favor like a lot of other companies have. I don't think they're going to end up the way like something like I think the only other company I could think of that probably was big that failed was Midway, and I doubt they're going to end up like that. They're too strong of a company at this point, especially in their own land. So I would think they'll be fine. I think this is just a bit of a low point. It happens.
Okay, well that's pretty true. Nikki, you got any thoughts on this?
Unfortunately, I agree with Miguel because personally, I have not been appreciative and or happy with Capcom because as a lot of companies start to do, once they have something and they get it and it's good, they just want to keep going over and over and over the process to see if they can make as much money as they did on the first original debut, and it doesn't work, i.e. you got Marvel vs. Capcom, you have Street Fighter, everything. Like, they have a couple of good moments of creativity, and then they just keep milking it out.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, people are going to buy it. So I personally would like to see basically, I guess what you would call a reality check with Capcom, but I don't really think it's going to happen. I think slowly they're going to find something that is going to catch the consumer's eye for a few months, enough to get them back up on their feet. And I think it's just going to be basically a very repetitive process.
Of course, no, I agree with you on that. The fact is, I think Capcom, in a sense, they've got a lot of rebuilding to do, but the big fast way of doing it, and from my opinion, I think the company itself will end up bouncing back from this. You've got the new Street Fighter 4 expansion coming out, which people are just going to buy tons of. And if they do decide to release a new Mega Man game, especially due to the popularity that the character's going to have received for the new Smash Brothers game, they're going to be more inclined to actually go forward with it. So there are ways, they've got loads of viable franchises to actually bring the company back up from that. What about you, Shaun? Any thoughts on this?
It's their fault. They should release Super Ghouls and Ghosts to the HD, and then they would make their money back.
Very true.
Make it happen, bitches.
Okay, so moving on from that, Miguel, got any news for us?
Hold on, let me get back to my computer. I literally just went to go get my dinner.
Okay, we'll
in fact, the moment you said, "Do you got any news?" I'm literally shoveling rice into my mouth. Hold on. I am at my computer right now. Okay, I did have one article that kind of dovetails off of this. It's an IGN. It's an op-ed, but it does have some interesting news that recently came out. It's called "How Bad is the Nintendo Situation?" And it talks about how the recent news that their first quarter financial results came out that so far between the months of April and June this year, the Wii U only sold 160,000 units in the world. That means that that's combined American market, Japanese market, and European market. And the question they ask is, is this a bad thing for Nintendo in the long run and in the short run? And they said, yes, it's bad in the short run. In the long run, they don't see that big of a problem. And they actually bring up a lot of good points that people forget. One of them being that Nintendo is they're kind of in the same situation as Disney, where they've amassed so much money from previous projects that really they could literally take a massive hit for one console generation, and it won't bother them. I think the article goes on to say that they have about $5 billion in assets that they have saved in the back. So, like I said, they could take a hit this year, the following year with the Wii U, and survive. I mean, they're still making solid money off the 3DS sales. They're also a first-party developer, so they are making money off of their own titles. I think it's hard to disagree with a lot of people's assumptions to say that the Wii U itself has been a bit of a flop, but I will vehemently defend the fact that Nintendo's not going to go out of business. I think people are doom and gloom. I think people are saying that, this is going to be it for Nintendo. It's not. They're going to take a hit. Microsoft did the same thing with the original Xbox. People forget about that.
Hell,
The original
Sony
Xbox
did it with the PS3. They took a huge hit on that.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
they took it at a loss for a long time. I think now they're starting to maybe recoup, but the first few years, yeah, they took a loss. Microsoft lost money on the original Xbox, because they're Microsoft. But same thing with Nintendo. They're big enough where they can lose money on this venture and be fine enough to where I'm sure by 2014 they'll have something else planned to release.
Very much so. No, I agree with you totally on this one. And just to let you know, ladies and gents, we've got a caller in. We've got Jeff Croop, who usually calls into this show every week. He's decided to call in today as well. So let's say hello to him. Jeff, hey, how's it going?
Nothing much.
You good? You having a good day?
Yeah, last night I saw the Conjuring.
Is it as terrifying as everybody says it is?
Nah.
Really? I've heard that it's. I've heard it's really good.
Like a ton of horror movies through my life. So all these horror movies. So I was sitting there going, this was not as terrifying as I thought it would be.
You were going to say something, Nikki?
Yeah. Samuel and I went to go see it whenever I was in Knoxville visiting family, and it was good, like the storyline, and it had some very creepy moments. Like if you saw Sinister, it was more like that. It wasn't like scary, but it was more psychologically kind of like, what the fuck,
This messes with your minds.
Yeah,
I believe
what were you saying, Jeff?
I was going to say, I believe it was either Sinister or Insidious that the director made. James Wan has done a bunch of movies. He did Dead Silence, the first Saw movie. I don't know if he did Sinister or Insidious, though.
But yeah, the commercial part, everyone's like, oh my god, it's so scary, and they're sitting there like jumping in the theater. No, it had like a couple of jump out moments, but for the most part, it was just kind of like, I guess, psychologically bearing. But it was still good. It was I gave it an 8 out of 10. I thought it was really good.
Also talking about complications and jump scares, let me introduce you our GG host here, who's been trying to get on the show for a couple of weeks now, but she's been having loads of mic problems, and Quote was telling me that she was going to kill herself if she didn't get on today, because she's been having loads of issues. Ladies and gents, welcome back, Samantha Jennings. Hi, Sam!
Hello! I made it.
Finally!
And I have no lag, finally. Thank God.
Yay! For the Animal Crossing show, I know you're probably holding on to your, your arms.
Well, I did have my 3DS, crunched in my hand because I was like, I have to make it, and this mic better work, otherwise I'm going to cry, and just have to, commentate everything. You have to, read it off.
So there you go. She's back. Do you have any news for us today, Sam?
News today. I did, and then I honestly just forgot it.
Don't worry,
Just a random question. Where exactly are you from? Because you have a southern accent.
Well, I lived in Tennessee most of my life, and then I just moved up here last April.
Oh, okay. What part in Tennessee? Because I live outside of Knoxville my family's still there. I'm just up here in Jersey.
I lived over on the other end of the state.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Is that a bad thing or is that a good thing? I don't know. I'm English.
No, see, it's in Central Time. I'm in Eastern Time with everyone else. Because Knoxville is about an hour and a half away from the Virginia line, so it's on Eastern Time. And where she is, she's in Central Time. She's 5 hours away from where I live.
Fair enough.
Pretty.
I just picked up the accent. I was like, huh.
As long as we're not going to have loads of y'alls in this show for the whole thing, we're fine.
Hey, y'all, come on down and call in to help us discuss Animal Crossing. Yeah.
You can all mosey down and call us in on 760-512-7247 while I milk a cow.
Oh my god.
I know, I'm evil. So let's move on quickly to Shaun. Shaun, you got any news for us?
I do. I have some good news, and I have some bad news. Which do you want first?
Go for the good. Oh, no, she wants the bad. Okay.
Oh, bad news.
The woman wants what the woman wants, so...
Well, the bad news is no multiplayer for Batman.
No!
They took it out?
They took it out of the Wii U.
Why?
I knew the Wii U didn't have it.
Well, Shaun's a Wii U owner, and most of the Wii U owners out there are probably silently crying in their pillows. But, you know, if you own a PS3 or an Xbox, there you go. I can understand the reason behind this. I think they're stating that they want to concentrate more on the online multiplayer function, whereas the Wii U doesn't specialize in that. Nintendo has no facility like Xbox Live or PSN Plus that facilitates this. They have online multiplayer, but it's not standard. And because they don't have that function, they're kind of getting penalized for it. So it's kind of annoying. What do you guys think? We'll start with you, Miguel. What do you think?
About Batman not having multiplayer?
Yeah, for the Wii U.
I'm okay with that. I honestly am, because to me the strength of the Batman games has been in its single player. You know, I'll admit I am not the biggest fan of multiplayer, especially tacked on multiplayer. I think so many games that try so well at strengthening their single-player mode usually end up getting a tacked-on multiplayer feature just because that's the popular thing. I mean, I've always had a negative stigma against multiplayer ever since I heard the rumor. I heard the rumor a couple years ago that back when Sony was in development for the Getaway 3, that they actually canceled it because they have no plans of putting multiplayer in it, and so Sony execs decided to cancel the game. Well, I think they did the same. I think they did the same thing with that one game. I think it was I forget what the name was, but they showed a video of it at E3. It was one of the first Sony games, and I remember being really excited about it. And then when they said that it was going to be canceled, there was a rumor going around that they did it for the exact same reason, that there was going to be no multiplayer, so they just decided to cancel it. So I've always hated this concept of you need multiplayer in your games to sell it. So with that in mind, I'm perfectly fine with Batman just having a single-player mode. To me, that was the best part of the first Arkham Asylum, was its story.
Okay, what about you, Nikki? Any issues?
It's disappointing, but it's not, to me, it's not the end of the world. I guess I agree with Miguel. I like multiplayer, but a lot of them are so, I guess, generic. It's just kind of to me.
Yeah.
I for one, I'm okay with it just being single player with Batman at least. So.
Okay, Travis, what about yourself?
Well, I mean, I agree with the majority. I mean, Batman to me is more of a single player experience, so I'm not completely bummed out that it was removed for the Wii U. But at the same time, I'm not very surprised because Nintendo has, most of their systems basically had more of an at-home experience. It wasn't really until the Wii when they did something with online multiplayer, like in case point with the Mario Kart Wii, which was like the only Nintendo multiplayer experience online that I played. But they're just really behind the times, and that's what really kind of irritates me about the company.
But they're very anti-internet, aren't they? It's like the whole issue with the new Smash Brothers game, how they're not going to actually focus on doing a story mode because people leaked it on YouTube, and they don't like that.
Oh, freaking wham. Oh, my God. So they removed the story element because someone posted all the story elements from a portion of Smash Brothers Brawl that nobody gave a shit about.
Yeah.
So what? I mean, really, who gives a damn about there's no story in it? All I care about is fighting. That's what the game is built on, is fighting.
I think the problem with Nintendo is they're very old-fashioned in terms of their mentality as far as gaming. I mean, what you just mentioned reminded me of the old the excuse they used back in the 90s when people called them out for the N64 not having a CD drive.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, why are you going cartridge when everybody's going CD? You know, is it for piracy reasons? And I forget who it was, but it was their main president. I don't know if they still have the president. He was in his 70s or the 90s, but he said that we feel that gamers are more appreciative of no load times as opposed to what the benefits of a CD. That was his big defense for cartridges. Like, well, you don't have any load times, so gamers are going to like that more. And I'm just like, okay, that's fine and everything, but
I call bullshit on that because there's even some cartridge games at the time where, believe it or not, had to load. And there's actually some 3DS games. I mean, I love my 3DS a lot, but there's actually some games where you see now loading screens. I'm like, I just don't understand it, where Nintendo's logic is coming from.
I think it's more to the fact where the company's scared to go in that sort of direction. At the moment, they write their own checks because of the fact that they can sell more games than they do systems. You know, once the popular titles come out, everyone's going to be scrambling to buy a Wii U at this point in time. But they don't want to take that next jump. And that's kind of hurting the company because they don't want to be seen in the same level as Microsoft and Sony. So, you know, it's kind of sad. Hopefully, we're going to see that change and then it will get a lot more support. But for now, this is what we get to look forward to, I suppose. What about you, Sam? Do you think that this is a bad thing? Are you going to miss the fact that, are you going to actually purchase the game for the Wii U, or do you think it's just something where if people want to play the multiplayer, they can just go and buy the other games, and if they want it on the Wii U, they buy it on the Wii U?
Well, if I had a Wii U, I would probably not buy it for it, just because I like my Xbox and it's my baby. But, I mean, the one, like, I don't mind that there's not multiplayer for the Wii U, but the thing is, that bugs me the most, is that when the Wii U was first announced, they were pushing games like Call of Duty and the new Assassin's Creed where they have multiplayer, and for them to not put it on this one and actually get rid of that feature, that was one big thing that they pushed with this new system, you're kind of taking away... See, you're kind of taking away that aspect that it's also for adults. Granted that Batman, you know, typically more towards the older generation, but not having that multiplayer feature that they really pushed at the beginning, like at the launch, it shocks me, but it doesn't surprise me.
Very much so. It's one of those things, I think it's just Nintendo not knowing what direction they need to go through for the Wii U. And hopefully we can see this resolved in a sense, because I don't really want to have any more issues with the company as a whole, so to speak. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see what direction they're going to go through next, if they're going to resolve this, or if there's going to be more situations just like this. Now, you got any more news for us, Shaun?
Yeah, the good news now, Ben.
Go for it.
Take-Two Interactive, the parent company of Rockstar, have recently renewed a trademark for Bully. So we might be seeing a Bully 2.
Yay! About time.
I have never played that game.
Oh my god.
Neither have I.
Never played it.
You guys missing out. It's great.
That is like one of the best Rockstar games I have ever played.
High five.
Woohoo!
Okay, any more, Shaun?
They're also, Rockstar, want to make Red Dead a permanent IP.
They're making I heard that rumor about the sequel that they're considering.
Oh, that might hurt it, though, because how are they going to bring the character back, or are they going to use a new protagonist?
They probably will use a new protagonist because, I'm not going to spoil anything. If anybody out there who's listening to this who hasn't played the first game, they'd have to have a new protagonist. I mean, it's just that simple. Unless you do like some sort of a backstory type thing, which is kind of a cop-out, but still.
They could just do it like Grand Theft Auto style, can't they? Just renew with different characters.
Yeah.
Probably so, yeah. Jeff, what did you think about the Batman situation and also with the 2K situation about Bully? Any thoughts?
Well, I thought that it doesn't really matter that they took out the multiplayer in Batman, because most people think it's Batman's that loner type character,
Yeah.
And putting multiplayer is kind of like adding on to like how Batman has like friends and stuff. But if you think about like most of the history of Batman, he was basically pushed into getting like his partners, like with like Dick Grayson, who had like his parents die. He just basically just took him in because he felt bad for him. But most of the time, if you ever see him in most of the comics, he actually by himself, because that's how he was before he even got the Robin character.
No, totally agree with you on that one.
And then for Nintendo itself, to get rid of that, though, kind of seems like they're thinking that multiplayer is not needed for games because they think that all gamers in general don't really play multiplayer. Maybe they're thinking maybe the old generation still doesn't really pay that much attention to the multiplayers. Maybe that's why they got rid of it, and like how they said about the cartridge stuff.
So what about the Capcom situation? You got any thoughts on that? Not Capcom. The 2K situation renewing the Bully license.
Well, I think with Bully, that kind of seems good that they are doing that, because if you bring back some of the popular games, you get more revenue into your company, and that maybe people buy more of your games.
Totally agree with you. Totally agree. Let's quickly just move over to the other bits of news. I've got a couple of bits before we move over to the main theme of the show, and I don't want to have us losing too much time here because the girls have got a lot to talk about. Boy 10 credits Mario Kart for quick thinking behind the wheel. Polygon reports that a 10-year-old boy who grabbed the wheel when his great-grandfather passed out while driving credited his experience to Mario Kart, an instinct that helped him avert a potentially tragedy, reports 9 News. Griffin Sanders of Golden, Colorado, was riding in a passenger seat on July the 26th with his great-grandmother and 74-year-old Darlene Nestor, who was driving approximately 60 miles per hour, and Sanders, a 4-year-old brother, sitting in the back. And according to Sanders, he passed out in the middle of a sentence outside the town of Hugo, Colorado, sending the car swaying towards oncoming traffic. He states, "I tried to wake her up at first," said Sanders, "and then I just took the wheel and drove into the ditch." There you go. And the vehicle slowed and stopped in a mud-filled ditch, leaving Sanders and his younger brother unharmed. And a passerby stopped by and called 911, and Nestor was eventually airlifted to a hospital in Colorado Springs. So, what do you guys think?
I think that's
nobody
kind
was
of neat
hurt,
how
right?
somebody actually...
No one was hurt. He says basically he put it into a mud ditch, and then the car literally just slowed down.
Wow.
So there you go. Mario Kart does help people. So any of you guys who play Mario Kart Wii and someone says that you're wasting your life, just say, you know what? I might save your life one day.
Exactly. Like, I personally get really pissed. Like, before I quit GameStop, I would get all of these old people saying that we were just wasting our time. And whenever people would start to say that video games promoted violence, like, it ticks me off. Because I've never seen anyone become influenced by that type of thing. Now, and if they do, then they had problems before they started playing video games psychologically.
Oh, of course.
I've actually, I've seen studies and whatnot where video games make people, especially children who grow up playing video games, a lot more attentive with things in life. And they become more focused, and it helps them make quicker decisions, because especially whenever, you're playing a strategic game, it causes you to have to engage and think and focus. So it helps you with that in real life. So, and that's just a perfect example. It helps with reflexes. It helps with thinking right last minute. So, I mean, if anyone gives you an argument trying to say that video games are nothing but a waste of time, they just saved a couple of people's lives.
There you go. That's extremely, extremely true. Also in other news, the last little bit of news is for this news section. The Wii U version of How to Survive is rated by the USK. This game apparently could be infecting the eShop after all. In the end of May, 505 Games announced it will be publishing a new IP in the form of How to Survive, a zombified survival horror action game. And at the time, it was stated as downloadable release on PC, PlayStation 3, and Xbox 360. But there's now evidence that it could be coming to the Wii U as well, as the USK Classification Board has slapped an entry for How to Survive on the Wii U at an age rating of 18. So, Shaun, what do you think of this? Good idea? Is it good that the Wii U is getting more titles and more third-party companies are working with it?
Oh, hell yeah. That's what they need. They need third party.
Yeah, exactly.
They need third party to boost their sales, to boost their console sales, and all that jazz, like.
Very much so. So saying on that, let's now move over to the theme of the show, which is Animal Crossing. So if you guys have played Animal Crossing, have you ever tried the game? If not, then we've got a couple of people who are very knowledgeable about this game. So I'm going to hand the show over now to Miss Nikki Mills and Miss Samantha Jennings, as these guys school us on all things Animal Crossing, while us men are just going to sit here looking kind of stunned. But you do have another member here who actually knows the franchise rather well, and that's Miguel Leon. So, girls,
he can be our co-pilot.
Yeah, start us off, and then Miguel can sort of jump in.
He can be our Isabel.
Yeah. Let's see. Who wants to go first?
Well, screw it. I'll go first then.
Yeah.
All right. Here's the story of Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing came out in 2001, at least in America, as a title for the Nintendo GameCube. Now, before that, it was actually released much earlier in the year on the N64 in Japan as Animal Forest. And I'm going to use the American translation because I refuse to even attempt at Japanese. But it was released on the N64 originally at the beginning of 2001 in Japan, and was released in December of 2001 in America as Animal Crossing. And basically, if you've never played Animal Crossing, it is, I would say I think the best analogy I've ever used, it's the Seinfeld of video games. It's really not about anything, but
it's basically a lifestyle within your lifestyle. Whenever people ask me what it's like, I always give it a slight comparison to The Sims, where you have control, especially in New Leaf, you're now the mayor, which I think is really cool. You have control in what goes on. You get to control what ordinance you have, what kind of house you have, what kind of lifestyle you want, how you get to interact with people in your town, your neighbors, because they can react to you positively and negatively depending on what you do. You get to it's basically your life in the palm of your hand. You get to choose what goes in your house, and it also adds effect to like the real world, because a lot of times you have certain payments on things. You can do lines of credit, I've seen before, and you have loans to repay. It gives you an act of responsibility. And in New Leaf specifically, there are what they call public works projects and ordinances, and you can raise money and donate money to help expand your town how you want it. And I think it's really cool because I personally think it can give kids, like younger children, a sense of responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes them feel in charge if they want something to happen. If they want to do something, they want to pay off a loan, there you go. It helps them keep up with it, because Animal Crossing is one of those games also, it's like The Sims. If you leave it alone for a long period of time, things tend to go haywire. People will move out, people will wonder where you are, you'll lose sight of the town, and you basically have to like jump over hurdles to try to get everything back in order if you leave it unattended. Well, and it's all around just a really cute, incentive game. Like it gives each character has their own personality, a little attitude. They have like parties, festivals that go on in the town. I think it's a really cute and friendly game for all ages.
Well, let me ask you a little question, actually, because I really wanted to ask this. When I first started the game, I had no preparation for what was going to happen. And as soon as I moved into my house, I got raped with a mortgage. It was...
That happens in every
I
game.
just paid off my
Welcome to
$300,000.
adulthood. Yay.
Yeah, I was just like,
I
oh,
just
welcome
paid
to
my
the town.
$300,000. Yeah, I just paid my $300,000 Bell loan off for my basement and whatnot. So I mean, and especially a new leaf I've discovered. Once you get bells, they come out just as quickly because I have a public works project that is like 200-something thousand bells, and then my loan, and it's like, all right, let's see how long I can fish to try to get bells for these two things in under 6 hours.
Yep. Just go to the island at night. You get all the beetles.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
how I do it.
I do that, and I wait. Like the more you fish, the more fish come around. So I'm just waiting for like the shark and the sunfish to come out like one by one, because then I can rack up like 20,000 bells at retail.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the worst thing that happens as well is, like, once you paid off one loan, he asks you... Yeah, he asks you literally, because I'm dealing with Nook at the moment. I don't know if he's the same in every game.
Yep.
Tom Nook? Yeah, Tom Nook is in every game.
I'm just like dealing with the guy, and he goes to me, so do you want an extra expansion? And you're just sitting there going, and
yes,
I want to click
do.
no, but I'm just like, oh yeah, go on then. And then he's like, well, that's not free, by the way. You've got to pay this loan.
Because another thing great about Nintendo in general is they kind of mesh their games into other games. With Animal Crossing, you can get little tidbits from other video games. Like right now, I have Midna's mask and the Majora's Mask sitting on my dresser, and then I have like a whole floor dedicated to all of my Nintendo stuff I get. Mm-hmm. And like you get to personalize it, and it still gets that little feel of other Nintendo games that were your favorites.
Quick thing before somebody takes over after this. How many of you guys actually have the original Animal Crossing for the GameCube?
I still do. That's the reason why I love my GameCube so much. I refuse to give it up. There's so many. Right. Everyone disses the GameCube, but there's like so many, like the Wind Waker, Animal Crossing. I mean, you can't really find those on anything else. And yeah, you can pop them in the Wii, but I mean, the GameCube was the first console that I originally owned because I'd always have to share it with my brothers. Every other console. So the GameCube was mine. Yeah.
All right. The only reason I ask is because I actually for this show back through some of my old video game magazines, because one of the magazines that I have is an issue of there used to be an old publication called Tips and Tricks. They were basically codes, and they would talk about what new games were coming out. And one of their issues was their inaugural 100th issue that had a bunch of special edition sheets and codes and stuff that no other website, no other publication had. They were specifically given to them. And I asked about Animal Crossing because one of the ones they were giving was a code for Animal Crossing, and I don't know if you guys might be interested in it, but it's to unlock a limited edition Nintendo bench. It's a blue bench. It's got the Nintendo logo plastered all over it. It's even got the Nintendo website on it. Apparently, it was given as a promotional thing to certain people
Miguel,
in the industry.
Stop right there. Now, what we're going to do, for all the hosts here, I want you to write it in the Skype. For those of you that call in, and this is going to be for like the first 3 callers of IGG. If you call in now, Miguel will give you that code for the bench for your GameCube version of Animal Crossing.
Where do you want me to type it in? Do I actually have to go to the Blog Talk Radio site?
No. Do you know the Skype window here with all the hosts, the call that I've got at the moment, because we are on Skype as we're doing the Blog Talk call. Type it down there for the host so they get the code. You can keep talking about it now, but do not reveal the code to anybody live unless the first 3 people that call in, you will get the code. Miguel will reveal that to you. Online.
We are offering a prize for tonight, an incentive, so call in, everyone. It's a 2-line code, so I'm going to write out the first line and then write out the second line. So while you guys are talking, I'll do that.
And you can also call us on 760-512-7247. That's 760-512-7247. And if you don't want to pay for the cost of a call, you can just type go onto our Blog Talk player. I'm kind of getting tongue-tied today. Go onto our Blog Talk player and just click on the Skype button just above it, and you will be forwarded to us for free, and we will put you on live, and we will give you that code. First 3 callers, you call in, we will get the code, so you don't have to pay for it. Just either call in using 760-512-7247 or call us by clicking on the Skype button above the player. Once you do that, you'll be directed straight to my switchboard, where I will bring you on and you can talk exclusively to Miguel, who will then reveal the code. How many codes are on there, Miguel? Was it just the one for the bench?
Just one. It was just one code there. But yeah. Nikki, you were the one that said you had the game, right?
Me, yes.
Is there any chance you could test that out for me and see if it actually still works? The last time I tried it was about 4 or 5 years ago when I actually did have a game and Animal Crossing. So I don't know if it still works or not. It might, because I don't think codes degenerate. But is that something we could test out while we're doing this, or not?
Yeah, give me about. It's going to take about 5 minutes because I currently have my Wii next to my PlayStation 4, next to my PlayStation 2. Not my PS4, my PS3. Fuck. I wish I had it. My PS3, my PS2, and then I have my GameCube and Xbox and whatnot. And it's going to take a little bit to get everything unplugged and whatnot. But I'll let you know when I get it set up.
If it's too much of a hassle, you don't have to do it. But it's just if we're going to be giving this away to people, I kind of want to know if this thing still works or not.
Oh no, it's fine. I can go ahead and it'll take me about 5 minutes.
I'm gonna have to dig out my memory cards now.
Oh yeah. By the way, Animal Crossing is a pain in the ass to try to save. I have it takes literally an entire memory card on the GameCube. Yeah. And it sucks so bad.
So this, girls, I want to ask you guys a question, and this is also to Miguel as well. So tell us how Animal Crossing started. How did this trend that has actually been compared to Facebook games like Farmville, how did this start?
I think what started it was the fact that it really was one of the first mainstream titles to have such an open-ended type of gameplay.
There's no mission.
You guys mentioned The Sims before, and as much as I like The Sims, I don't really consider Animal Crossing to be like it, simply because of the fact that it's not so heavily built on micromanaging on a character-specific level. Like in The Sims, you have to worry about feeding your sim, making it go to sleep, having to use the restroom.
Well, I was using it in the sense of control. The Sims, you get to control whatever you want in there, whatever happens. Same with Animal Crossing. It's very open-ended, and you get to decide what goes on. Mm-hmm. I wasn't completely comparing it to it, but when people ask me, I say it has that type of feel, Yeah,
but I think it's just the fact that, it is such an open-ended game. There's no real issue. There's no real story about it. You kind of just play it, and you just, you're just doing whatever little odd jobs that are in there. You'll have somebody in there that needs a certain item, or you can do little scavenger hunt missions. You can plant trees, and you could, you can collect items to personalize your house. And I think one of the big features that really brought people in was the fact that the game constantly changes while you're playing it, which was actually something they expanded on in the American release. Because on the in the 64 release, it did have a clock in it, an internal clock like the GameCube, but that was built into the actual cartridge. So
another thing, go ahead, you glitched out. I thought you were done.
I was going to say, in the 64 version in Japan, they actually have an internal clock, but it's in the cartridge, so it doesn't pick up on seasons, and it doesn't pick on specific months. It just kind of goes on its own thing. Whereas in the GameCube version, since it uses the actual internal clock, it actually does change based on what type of season it is. If it's fall in real life, you'll see leaves falling around. If it's winter in real life, you'll see snow in the areas. It corresponds to the actual holidays, and it could easily be connected to the real world so much that I think that's what it was. It was basically I consider Animal Crossing to be like the pinnacle of sandbox gaming. To me, that's sandbox gaming done right.
I agree. It gives you that sense that it's a quaint game, but at the same time, there's all these different possibilities and all this stuff that you can control. And another thing, I don't know if it's just coincidental. It probably is, but I'm always really paranoid about that. It was raining here in New Jersey, and the moment it started raining in New Jersey, it started raining in Animal Crossing, and I flipped shit. But with that, everything changes when the real world changes. Like he said, during the summertime, it not only is it hot and sunny 24/7, the fruit, the fish, the bugs, everything changes with appropriate season. I've got cicadas everywhere in my town. And then in the wintertime, the tree was to die, not as many bugs come out, and everything you can't get it. Another thing is you can't get everything at the same time. There's so many things you have to collect and whatnot, and you can't get them because of the internal clock. You have to wait, and you have to sit there and play the entire game and wait for the season to come. Which I like as well, because a lot of people are just wanting to get everything done, get everything accomplished, but then what's left in the game?
It's literally, it's just like the real world in that there are actual things that are legitimately seasonal. Like, there are certain fruits, I'm guessing, that probably aren't available, like, in the winter, or, certain fish. I mean, I'm actually looking through that same Tips and Tricks magazine, and I forgot they actually used to have a segment in there called Animal Crossing Almanac, where whatever month was being printed, they would actually say, this is what's going on, I'm looking at June 2003 right now. They show what fish are available this month, what different tournaments are going to be taking place in the area, what little things like things would happen around you without you even having to play it. And I think that's what brought a lot of people in. Was it really does stick to that phrase that it coined in the American release, was it's the life game that plays even when you're not playing it.
Oh, definitely. Sorry.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
There was one thing where you guys were talking about the seasons and only certain things would be available at certain points. The one thing I actually noticed with New Leaf, I don't know if you guys have done the Dream Suite yet, but I've noticed going into different regions like Japan, Europe, Mexico, it seems that each region has its own items. Because, Japan's got its own specific ones that I've noticed that I can't find in mine. Even in my book, they don't exist in my, little strategy book. So I think that's really unique, but it frustrates me because I want them so bad, but I can't.
I've noticed that, too. I got a whole Dream Suite as well, and I like it, but at the same time, I've been playing this since I woke up at 9 o'clock in the morning because I want to be able to get as much as I can done in one day, because as with time changes in the real world, it changes here. And stores close, and people actually go to sleep. It's not something you can wake up at 4 in the morning and go play, because nothing's going to happen,
Right, you can fish and chase bugs.
Yeah, that's all you can do. You can, fish and chase bugs, but nobody else is going to be around.
Well, going back to that, though, sorry to interrupt you, Nikki. Going back to that, does that get frustrating because of the time change? Say 12 o'clock midnight, everyone closes shop, and you can't do anything in game. Does that deter you?
It can at times. I'm well, damn it, I wanted that now. But that's what I like about it. You can't finish the game. You can't just grab everything at once and then call it quits. It gives you that real life feel. If you wanted to go and get something to drink, but the store was closed down the road, oh well, And it irritates me sometimes, but at the same time I appreciate it. It gives me more of that real life feeling to it.
It makes you want to play the game. It's not like the one you can finish in 6 hours and be done with it. It's one that you're going to want to wait and then keep going.
Exactly.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
That was one of the things drew me into the GameCube one, was the fact that it was one of the first real-time games that actually adapted to your time. You could set it to directly on your birthday. When you start the game, it does automatically set to what your GameCube settings are to. You actually can, let's say it's mid-July and you wanted to make it Christmas. You can set it to that exact date, and it's Christmas. I did that because I was I wonder if it actually snows in December, and it does, and I thought that was really cool when I was younger, and I was I actually can play this, and not leave, and leave and come back and everything's gone. Everything, I've missed my opportunity, because I know, Facebook games, I know you guys kind of compared it to those. Those you have very limited ability to do anything. Even with The Sims on Facebook, you don't have a lot of opportunity to get stuff done. Animal Crossing, you have literally 24 hours to just play and do stuff, which is awesome.
Yeah, and that, like, with things being limited to an extent, like I said, things close or you miss the limited time offer, things do, like, cycle around, obviously, with seasons, and sometimes the objects will cycle around as well, like you'll catch it a couple of months later. But the fact that you were limited to a certain amount of things each day makes you want to when I was little, I got up in the morning, it's like, I forgot to get this in Animal Crossing, I need to go do that now, and then there I am playing it for another 7 hours. So it
Oh, I thought we were done. Never mind. Keep going.
Oh no, I'm basically done.
I didn't mean to push it, but I just wanted to get to some of the other features of Animal Crossing. One of which that I think most people really like is the fact that one of the things you can do in Animal Crossing is they have some of the old NES titles that you can actually collect in the game and actually play. And I'm talking about full-length NES games, stuff like Ice Climbers and Soccer, Excite Bike, Punch-Out.
Mario vs. Donkey Kong was in there.
Yeah.
Because in the GameCube one, I actually had every single NES game you could collect in there. It took me for unfreaking believable ever, but I had every single one.
No.
Yeah, I did that. I did that as well.
I'm reading more on the article, and technically no. And I remember this because Pop Fiction Game Trailers did an episode of Pop Fiction on this, where they talk about the 4 mystery NES titles that are technically considered impossible to get. 2 of which are possible. That's Ice Climbers and the original Mario Brothers, but you actually have to have an e-reader to do it, and you get it as a secret card, as a secret unlockable by sliding a specific card. I remember the guys online said this was one of the hardest ones they had to do because they had to actually go out, find an e-reader, and find cards that hadn't been used yet. But they managed to unlock those 2. And the other 2 are the original Super Mario Brothers and Legend of Zelda, which are accessible. They are in the game, but Nintendo has yet to announce how to unlock them. No one knows how to unlock these games, but they are there in the
GameCube version.
What? Was
that for the GameCube version?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they never even announced that? That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's in there, but no one out there knows how to do it. The only reason that Pop Fiction even found out that it's in there is because there was a guy, I forget who they named, but he actually went in and broke down the code of Animal Crossing and found it in the code. So it's in there, but Nintendo has yet to announce. I think their theory is that they think that those 2 games were probably would have been accessible through the e-reader had the e-reader continued, because the e-reader that was a big. For those of you who don't remember the e-reader, it was basically a Game Boy Advance attachment that allowed you to slide cards, and
which was
some
awesome.
of these cards had little games you could play. What was that?
Said it was awesome.
Yeah.
I never used it. It was too expensive at the time. But they had cards that you can slide, and you can unlock stuff in games, or you can unlock games yourselves. But they had they had Ice Climbers and Mario Brothers that you could download using the e-reader. I would not be shocked if they had planned to come out with Legend of Zelda and Super Mario versions of it that you can unlock later. They just never, it died a death once it came overseas. So I'm guessing that's the situation. Those games
sorry. I accidentally let go of a fish. Sorry.
As you can tell, it's so popular that she's actually playing it during the show.
I'm playing it too.
I'm sorry.
I'm stealing other people's furniture.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's actually not the only hardware connection that that Animal Crossing has, and I didn't even realize this. I'm reading, and I think I might have heard of it, but I'm reading it now. Connecting a Game Boy Advance to the actual GameCube game allows you to unlock a special island. In the game, a tropical island.
That was probably one of the hardest things to unlock, because if you did not have a Game Boy Advance, you could not access anything over, off the dock. That thing did not exist. It was, oh my God.
Well, it sounds like you have experience in it, so why don't you take this one over?
Yeah. I'm always curious to what every little detail in a game is. And when I first got Animal Crossing for the GameCube, I didn't know what the dock was for, and I was like, oh, maybe as I play it more, something will happen. And I kept playing it, and I kept playing it, and I kept playing it, and nothing happened. So I was just like, okay, I know this isn't just an extra extension for me to fish and collect things that I can't get. So what I did, I got online and actually researched it. Apparently you needed the Game Boy Advanced with the link cable. Actually hook that into your GameCube and then actually unlocked the island that you could go to, which is really cool. Because there was only specific fish that you could get at that island that you cannot get at your town. There were fish, there were bugs. You actually got an extra house to decorate that you didn't have to pay for. It was completely maxed out to the limit on the first level, and you actually got limited edition clothing and then items from that island. Because that's actually one of the things you'd have to complete your encyclopedia and your museum to get like all the bugs, all the fish, and things of that nature, which is really, really difficult because I still have 7 left in my new leaf and I can't find my fossils. 7.
Yeah.
I need 7.
Yeah. I think I need like 12, so I understand the pain. And a lot of things I've read, like maybe 2 or 3 of them they won't like cycle through until like the end of the summer, and I'm like, please hurry.
Yeah, I'm missing torsos and 1 head, 2 heads, and I'm missing I think 3 of the little fossil standy thingies. It's annoying. But yeah, I mean, that was one of the things I also really liked about the GameCube version was the fact that you had an island that was yours. You had an extra house that you could actually just design and decorate. You didn't have to worry about more loans. Oh, that was nice. And the one cool thing that I loved about the GameCube version, which you can kind of collect in the old ones, the other ones, you actually got pieces of the town. Like you got the fountain, you got the post office, you got like the can't think what it's called with the tree, the plaza, and then you got pieces of the train. And what I actually did with my island house, I actually decorated it like my town. I had grass pieces, I had flower pieces, I had tree pieces, I had everything. It actually was like a miniature model of my town inside of my island house.
I want to go off topic a little bit. Well, not off topic, but off this part of the topic. One thing I find enjoyable that it's a little new feature with New Leaf. It is the QR code scanner. And for those who don't know like what that is, or you had the game and you don't know what that is, go to Sable in the town, and you have to talk to her for 7 days. She's going to be sitting there doing her little sewing, and she's not going to really talk much. But if you go to her once a day for about 7 to 10 days, she offers this thing called the QR code scanner. And everyone knows what a QR code scanner is. You get the little pattern, you scan it, and it offers like some new feature or whatever. And what you can do is you can go online and save pictures of each code for like different patterns for artwork, for like wallpaper, for the brick and panel layout of your town, to everything that you can wear. And it makes it even more customizable. Like I got this new brick panel across my town, and I have now like it's like a little water stream in the shape of like a window across the town in brick panels and whatnot. And I actually just downloaded Zelda's dress from Twilight Princess. And it makes it even more customizable than it already is, and it gives you that feel of your own. And I think it's so cute, because whenever you're tired of something, just go online, look for a new code, and download it. And there you go. You can change it as many times as you want. So if you didn't know about that, I highly recommend you start doing it now, because it is awesome.
Going back to the original Animal Crossing, I'm reading up on it, on the a lot of the multiplayer facets of it, one of which is the traveling feature, where from what I'm reading, basically if you've got 2 memory cards with 2 different towns, you can actually travel from your town to the other town from somebody else's to somebody else's file. with either of you, with both of you having played the original one, have any of you guys ever done that? Had your character travel to somebody else's town?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, and that's actually one way that you can farm bells. Have it in 2 different time periods. Like you can have like a summer and a winter, and you can actually catch certain fish, like certain rare fish, at different points in time. That's one way I kind of cheated and paid off my house really quickly.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, if any of your friends had like a memory card that had Animal Crossing, you could actually just swap memory cards and visit each other's town. Because I actually would do that with a bunch of my friends because they had what I called the mall for Nook Store. Like, they had the ultimate upgrade. I think it was like, 2 floors of stuff, I think, and that's when he brought his kids in. That's what I would do because mine wasn't upgraded very much because I just didn't like anything he ever sold. So I would actually go to their town, go into their store, and they would go to mine. So they kind of, like, you'd kind of help each other out by purchasing things from each town, because by doing that, even in, like, the newer of the Animal Crossings, like for the Wii, the DS, and the 3DS, if you have other people come in and spend money in your shops, they actually upgrade quicker.
Yeah,
Can you, sorry to jump in quickly, can you guys explain a little bit more about Nook Store and how it gets upgraded? Because remember, you're talking to novices here. You've got Travis here, who's basically a novice on the series. Sean here, who's
I've never played it.
Never played it before.
Yeah, Tom Nook and his little kid would run parts of the shop in every Animal Crossing game. Them and what's the other guy? KK Slider are like the most famous people from Animal Crossing. Like, you see those 2 faces, it's like, oh, it's from that game Animal Crossing. What he does, what Nook does personally, he is a renovations guy. He basically sells renovations, extensions. He sells you your home, everything. And you can go to him multiple times and get a relationship with him, and he's the one that distributes your loan to expand your house, expand it again, and then add floors, basements, renovations, etc. And his 2 little sons, Timmy and Tommy, they run what is originally Nookling Junction, and if you go in there and you get a good relationship with them, use your play coins to get the fortune cookies and buy a lot of stuff from the store, which in order to build up everything you kind of have to. They will renovate the shop a couple times, and the more money you spend in them, the more they renovate, and the wider selection, to the point where you can even pick from, like, catalogs what kind of stuff you want to buy. So, and they're absolutely... What?
The catalog stuff. That's usually everything that you already own, isn't it? Because I remember when I first started, if I go into the catalog on the DS version, Wild World, you would have a couple of stuff that I already had in my inventory that I already found somewhere, or that I grabbed from the Lost and Found. And I'm a bit of a git because I go in the recycle bin as well and fish stuff out that people have recycled over town.
Yeah, in New Leaf it's a little more expanded. The sad thing is, if you go to other people's towns, you can't use their catalogs, because I've already tried.
Yeah, they lock a lot of features.
Yeah, you have to. They've made it to where you have to really work in this game. My friend Shane and I, we visit each other's towns daily, and what Samantha was saying was he'll come in and he'll either do stuff for retail, or he will buy things in my shops and whatnot, and it kind of helps me out. And then I'll go over there and I'll go to the Able Sisters and see what kind of outfits they have or what kind of hats they have, because today I finally found, because it's only cycled through once and I forgot to get it, the Pharaoh's mask. I could not find it for the life of me, and I went over to Shane's town and I found it, and I was ecstatic because that was one of the only ones I didn't have yet. And so they kind of help you out in that sense. And I mean, you can keep as many as you want and you can display as many as you want, but whenever you don't want it anymore, I would just go and trade with Shane. If he has something I want and I have something he wants, we just trade out. And you can really benefit from all that. Well,
let me ask you guys a question then. What would you say if we did an exchange service of people basically who follow I Got Gameplay on the YouTube channel, guys and fanboys, people who go on the I Got Gameplay and fanboys page, that we basically do get them to do their link codes, have everyone visiting each other's towns and stuff. Would you guys be up for something like that?
No offense, to an extent. I've had people like we were talking about in an episode of IGG earlier. People will take stuff from your town.
Yep.
And I trust Shaun, I trust Travis, I trust Samantha. Come in there as much as you want. Some people will come in, they will take your flowers, they will take your fruit, they will chop down your trees, everything, and just run for the ticket gate. So, no offense, if you want to talk to me personally, you can find me on Facebook, you can find me on Twitter, get to know me, and then I will give you your code. Otherwise, I am not for it.
Yeah, I agree.
If you want to get a friend code from Sam or Nikki, you have to make sure that you message them personally and that they have to actually feel that you're okay people because they don't want no tree robbing.
Speaking of friend codes, I kind of see a bit of that genesis here coming from Animal Crossing because one of the features that they did allow in the original one was you could actually give gifts to people using codes. You would basically print out, I think, like a 28-digit code for them to bring to their town, and it would actually unlock an item that you would want to give to them. Like, let's say if I had the original Animal Crossing and I wanted to give Sam a sofa, or even the bench code that I just gave out. That's basically an example of it. You have an item.
Which, by the way, that code was successful.
Yes. How does the bench look?
I think it's cute. It's like this. It's a blue bench, and then it has Nintendo written across it.
Yeah, it's a very limited edition item that I don't think any other publication has ever printed that. I'm sure somebody out there has it printed online, but at the time of the magazine's release, no other magazine publication had it. So it is a limited edition item. So, like I said, folks, if you're still listening out there, if you want it, I'll give you a copy. I'll give you a copy of the cheat, and you can unlock your own limited edition NES bench. It'll go Nintendo bench. It'll go great with those NES titles.
So all you got to do is call in on 760-512-7247. That's 760-512-7247. If you're too cheap to actually make the call, you can press the Skype button on the top of the player. So there you go, guys. If you want it, you got to call us in to get it. Otherwise, Miguel, we're not give it to you. No.
No, I only the girls get it for free.
Ooh.
That sounds weird. Actually, I wish I thought up that line, but go on, Miguel.
On that note,
nice pickup line.
Let's move over to the next console release, really the only other console release of Animal Crossing City Folk, 2008 for the Nintendo Wii. One of the big features they wanted to promote for this game, which I think was really a ridiculous idea, was the Wii Speak feature, which was basically another one of Nintendo's attempts to, I guess, try to appeal to the new market, or I don't know what it was, but basically it was a two-way speaker. You'd put it on top of your TV, you'd speak into it, and you'd be able to hear other people talking back. And I guess their theory was that people would be playing this together with a bunch of other people, so it'd be a party aspect, so you'd be able to, like, talk to a bunch of people over one microphone instead of having to have individual ones. Personally, I think it was a ridiculous little knick-knack. I mean, I don't think you should revolve your gameplay around it like they tried to do with this game. Other than that, the game is pretty much just as is. I'm not too familiar with this one. You girls are going to have to take the reins on this one for me. But one of the big features is obviously downloadable content and online play. You can actually visit other people's towns, I believe.
Yeah. What you can do is you can invite people into your town, and they have this thing called, basically you get to choose your best friends. And, like, friends you know personally, you can add each other, and you can send messages, like, it notifies you when somebody's online. And you guys can send messages back and forth regardless if you're in the town or not. And say, hey, you want to come over to my town? Open up the ticket gate. Only he or she will be allowed to come in. And then as you're walking around, you can chat throughout the game no matter where you are. They'll see the little message. They'll see the chat. And it's just really cute. And, like, you can choose whether or not you want to, like, make new friends and meet new people. And then when you add them into your best friends, you can talk to them whenever they're online. Like, you don't even have to enter the town, which I think is really cool. If you guys just want to do your own thing but still talk, it's available. And it's a really cool feature.
So basically, was that done over the Wii's Wi-Fi? Basically, the healthy internet connection they have, because I know Nintendo had some issues with games like Smash Brothers and stuff like that in terms of online play. But with Animal Crossing, you could literally have someone. How would they get to your town? Could they randomly go to any town on the planet, or would they have to know you directly?
Both. Technically, if you guys are sitting in the same room and you're on, if you both have internet access, you can choose for somebody to come visit from a nearby town, or you go to a nearby town, and it will pick up the 3DS in the other room, and you just go to their town. If you want to go to a faraway town, when you want to go to a faraway town, it depends on the other person. The other person has got to open their ticket gate, which connects them to the internet.
Yeah.
And it connects you all over the place. But if they don't have their gate open, you will not be able to see their town on the list. So you can do both, but it depends on the other person. I was
gonna say just as a clarification, because I really should mention this. City Folk, which is the game that I was talking about, is actually the third game. There was the handheld titles, but I was actually going to do those separately. But yeah, the town feature actually was it from Wild World, the town hopping feature that you were just mentioning?
Yeah, I believe so, because you had the ability to leave town. Because at the moment I don't use that feature because I'm trying to, get Nook to renovate the store and build higher and higher and higher. But,
okay, because I didn't want to confuse anybody, because I wanted to do the two console games first and then the handheld ones. But
yeah.
I guess for continuity's sake, we do have to mention that City Folk is the third title. There was Wild World, which I guess we can get to after we finish talking about City Folk, or we can talk about it now, however you ladies want to set that up.
I did, and also City Folk is where the friend code originated from. Wild World, is where the friend code originated from.
Okay.
So, I believe. I might be wrong. But yeah, go on, girls. Take it.
With Wild World?
No, I mean, as you were talking about, because we're talking about City
the friend
Folk.
code thing.
Yeah. Did you have that utility in City Folk? Because I've never played the game, because I never wanted to actually buy the Wii Speak, because I knew that utility was going to be useless, because I never really used it for anything else.
Yeah, the Wii Speak was a little annoying. But I personally, out of all of them, City Folk and Wild World were not two that I played so often, because I already had the original. So I don't know, Samantha, if you wanna take the lead on this one.
I never got around to playing City Folk. Just by looking at it and kind of reading up on it, it kind of seems like this is where New Leaf got like the Main Street thing, which is actually a entire different set to the New Leaf game, where you can they have all of your shops concentrated, other than the recycling shop, just for the people who don't know. But that's where I'm guessing that they got the Main Street idea for New Leaf was from City Folk, because that was the first one that actually had like a city-ish feature where you actually could go play with your other friends. I'm not sure how they connected, because I really never took advantage of the online feature for my Wii. I just browsed the interwebs when I was up to it, and it wasn't crashing on me. Other than that, I really am not sure. I do know that New Leaf took a lot of things from that game, because the one thing I know they took from it was there's a hair place shop in New Leaf where you can actually change your hair. You can change the way your character actually looks. You're not stuck with that first character that everybody dreads, getting when they jump off that train. And the one big feature they put into that was now that you could change your hair and your face, but you could actually take your me character's head that you created for your Wii and actually put it on your character in Animal Crossing, which was really cool, and it's still creepy as ever, but it's still kind of a neat idea because it makes your character more personable, which I thought was kind of cool.
I actually used the strat because, like, I always hated the way my character looked up until I got the strategy guide for the 3DS one, and I purposely did answers because I wanted this face so bad. I'll show you. I'll look up the face now because it's perfect. So, I mean, I understand the agony of having to answer all these questions, and then you get off the train, and it's like, what the hell? What is that?
Why do I look like I just took a bunch of sugar pills?
Yeah, exactly. So I cheated on this one because they introduced a new facial expression into New Leaf, and I needed it, so I'll pull that up now.
Well, if there's nothing else, since you guys don't really have much to say about Wild World and City Folk, before we move on to the next game in the franchise, which is New Leaf, which I'm sure you guys have probably been playing a lot, I just want to talk about one thing. Well, two things. One was for Wild World, I'm actually reading up. There were actually a couple technical issues and controversies with Animal Crossing Wild World. The first one being a glitch in Wild World where I'm assuming that you're not allowed to. Can you plant flowers in your actual house?
No.
No.
Well, apparently that was a glitch in Wild World where there was a certain type of flower, I think it was called the red tulip, that if you tried to plant in your house, it would actually create an invisible wall that would render that spot in your house completely useless.
Wow.
And
yeah,
like you could go over that, and they had to actually release a statement saying, "Don't do this." It wasn't done by a hacker; it was just some type of code glitch within the actual game that I guess the developers missed. And another one being hold on. Oh, okay. In Wild World, okay. In Animal Crossing, you could type stuff in, and I'm assuming since this is Nintendo, there's a profanity bar feature where it blocks out any sort of profanities you type and something like that.
Yep.
In New Leaf?
In all the Animal
older
Crossing
ones. In the older ones, it caught it more. New Leaf, not so much.
Well, I think I said fuck on the conversation thing, and it didn't. It didn't leave it out.
Okay, because one of the controversies in Wild World was there was a certain word that went through the sensors on Wild World, and you could actually have it typed out in the customizable catchphrases or something. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to offend certain members of our fan base. I'm going to type it into the chat. Hopefully none of you will say it, but apparently that word passed through Japanese censors, and you were able to actually have it pop up in the game. And so they had to release
thing is, that word in Chinese means something totally different.
I think that's why.
Yeah.
Was the case because it has different connotations, but needless to say, Nintendo wrote a statement saying that they apologized for it and that it was just oversight issue on their part. But yeah, it just makes me laugh that those two that had an issue. Another little thing actually ties into into one of the developers, actually one of the sound designers. Is let me see if I can pull up his name. The sound designer for the original Animal Crossing. Kasumi Totaka. He's actually a famous sound designer. He's designed sounds for games like Yoshi's Story, the original Mario Paint, Animal Crossing, Smash Brothers, and Wii Sports. And he actually has a sound not a sound glitch, but a sound cheat, like an Easter egg. He puts in every single one of his games. It's called Totaka's Song. It's a 19-bit little jingle that he put in Mario Paint, and he's hidden in every game he's done. I think you can find it in Yoshi's Island 2, in Luigi's Mansion, and the character of KK Slider is actually based off of that guy. And if you go up to KK Slider in Animal Crossing and ask him to play K's song, he'll actually play the jingle on his guitar. So that's a little bit of a neat little fun fact about that game.
There you go.
Oh, by the way, if you guys haven't clicked on it yet, it has the face guide, and it shows you what, like whenever you're on the train and you get all the questions, it shows you, like, if you answer this, this, and this is what character you'll have. And the one I have is the female, the third from the bottom. And I just love the face so much. I don't know why, but it's such a sly, like, little smirk. I love it so much.
One thing
I think that second one from the bottom freaks me out a little bit.
Going back to the Wild World one, if someone doesn't have like a GameCube, that's probably the closest thing you'll get to the original GameCube version. Because I actually have all of them except for, of course, the Nintendo 64 Japanese one and City Folk. But when I put in Wild World, that was probably the closest thing you can find to the original GameCube version. It does have some slight differences that they took from City Folk, but it's probably the closest legitimate thing you'll find to the original GameCube if you can't get your hand on that system. Just an FYI.
You know, to me, the Animal Crossing games actually feel better on the handheld than they do on the consoles. Not that I have a problem with the console releases, but I just think it feels more right on the handheld, because in the case of the handheld, you can just pop that out anytime, anywhere, you know, as opposed to the console where you have to be at your TV at a certain time. But let's say you're on the road and you're on the road during a specific time where a specific fish comes out. You know, if you're not at your console, you can't do anything about it. But
it can be dangerous, though. I proved that to Sam today whenever we were supposed to be going out for lunch. And I'm walking and playing Animal Crossing, and I ran myself into a pole, and he's like, Nikki, give me the 3DS now. So it can be dangerous. Just a heads up. I do love that I can just take it wherever. But I've been playing this thing about 7 hours a day, every day, and I even forgot my boyfriend exists. Like, he had a full-on conversation to me. I'm like, I'm fishing. Don't talk to me. I'm fishing. And I actually got kind of irritated, and that's when he was, like, just chuckling. He's like, we need to go and do something else. I was trying to get one of the sunfish, because I was trying to help pay off my loan, and it popped up. And he's sitting there actually having a full-on conversation with me, and I look at him, and I'm like, can you stop talking for like 5 minutes? You're breaking my concentration. So it can be dangerous to have it whenever you want it.
It's only dangerous once you start actually trying to pay for items in the real world with bells. If you just start breaking out, if you just start, you tip your waiter with a bell. I think you played this game too much.
Speaking of that, bringing Animal Crossing to the real world, I have 3 girls that I work with, and we're all just exhaustingly addicted to this game. So much so that we were standing outside of work. I think it was like early morning, and we were taking like a quick break where there was no one in the store. And a butterfly flies by, and one of the girls literally chased after it, thinking she had a net in her hand. Not even kidding. I mean, I catch myself doing that sometimes. Like, I'm just walking down my road, and I was like, oh, there's a butterfly. Where's mine? Oh, I don't have one. That's not real. So
that's happened to me a couple of times before. I know whenever I worked at GameStop in
yeah, I think she's just crossed it with a 3DS.
I have a cat in the background. I'm sorry.
She played Animal Crossing and just probably whacked the cat with a 3DS.
Anyway, I would have coworkers that we would all, especially whenever I think City Folk came out. We all were outside, and my shift lead, Greg, would constantly run around the parking lot at trees and try to shake the trees while we were all on break.
Oh, Lord.
That's probably the scariest part about this game is shaking trees, because you don't know if you're going to get the spiders, you don't know if you're going to get your bees, and in New Leaf, you actually have scorpions and tarantulas that will just randomly attack you when you walk by them.
Oh
Yeah.
God, not the bees!
The bees!
Oh. My solid face. Oh my God.
But yeah, like there have been times I've gotten lucky and I just get nothing but bells, and sometimes I get the occasional sofa, which it's nobody's like.
That's the scariest thing I've ever heard. Shaking a tree and a sofa falls out.
Well, if you haven't played, you shake the trees, and everyone knows the traditional the leaf that pops out of the tree in New Leaf, and it just looks like that. But when you open it or you release it and display it, it's an actual item. Mm-hmm. So you pick up, you shake the tree and this little leaf precariously falls down, and you pick it up, and then you can go into your pocket, your archive, and click on it and see what it is. And I've gotten sofas, I've gotten tables, I've gotten outfits. So
I've gotten a Sphinx.
Yeah, I've gotten a bathroom sink, I think. I think it's handy because sometimes when you want something and all you have to do is just shake a tree for it.
As I said, I tend to go through like recycle bins and stuff like that in the town hall and see if I can pick up certain items from there. Because I'm like putting cherries in the recycle bin, open it up. Oh look, there's a chair. There's a robot chair. I'll just pop that in there. That's worth a little bit. Oh, there's this. I'll just pop that in there.
I have plants. Do you want my plants? And I have a tea kettle. I'm trying to get rid of it. No one is buying them, and I don't want them.
Why don't you just trade them like at Nook's store for bells?
Well, in New Leaf, you always want to go to the retail because they actually give you more. Because in the older games, the only place you could go was to Nook's store, and they always cheated you, unless it was like a fossil. If it was furniture or anything else, they always cheated you on your bells. And this
you give me like 100 bells for like fruit, so I was just like giving him loads of fruit.
Well, I mean, if it's a fruit that's not native to your town, you get 500 bells per fruit, which is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, which seems like the most popular. I don't know about you guys. The most popular fruit that I've seen with my friends, at least that all have Animal Crossing, has been the peach.
Mine is scary.
The peach is everywhere in my town, and finally, I've managed to get almost every single fruit. I'm looking for pears. I can't find pears anywhere.
Come to my town. I have everything but the cinnamon.
I have that, actually.
Oh, we can trade. Yes.
And what?
Do you have the bamboo, or is that only in Japan? Because I really want bamboo.
That's another thing as well.
I think that's only in Japan.
Oh, need it.
With New Leaf, though, you guys can't go to other people's towns. You have to friend code someone.
Well,
not necessarily.
If like you guys swap friend codes and you're local, as long as their town is open, you can visit them. You don't have to be like a best friend.
Yeah.
No, you don't have to have a friend code. I take that back. If you are within, I don't know, like arm's reach of someone and they have their town open, as long as you have that Wi-Fi connection, you can actually visit their town and not require a friend code. If you want to do it via the internet, where you can't even see the person in front of you, then you have to have a friend code for people to access your town.
So you have to literally, if it's someone in Japan, they have to give you their friend code.
Right.
Yeah.
Or what I've found you can do, once you reach the island in New Leaf, which doesn't take that much, there's actually little mini games you can do, like you can hunt for fossils and you actually earn medals, because on the island in New Leaf you cannot spend any bells. Bells don't exist on that island. You can only spend medals as the currency. In order to get medals, you have to do mini games, and depending on how you do, depends on how many medals you get. Once you get up to 50, there's actually a contract that you can get, and that contract allows you to actually go and play on a random island with people from either your corner of the world or virtually anywhere. Like, you literally can just sail the 7 seas. And you have that option when you decide to go to your island from your town. You can either go just straight to your island by yourself or do like a contract. And I actually got a couple of people. I have someone from California that I met, and I've also got someone from New York. And once you just sit there and you play with them and you chat, you can decide whether or not you trust them, give them your friend code, and then that's a good way you can swap and meet people, because it's completely random, the people you meet when you do the contract through the island, but a lot of the times you meet really cool people, because I've only met 2 people that are just awful, and I never want to play with them again.
And that's one of the things that I wanted to mention about Animal Crossing is the fact that, and this is something I've always wondered about Nintendo and Animal Crossing, but hearing you guys talk, I get it now, it seems like Nintendo really wants to make that massively multiplayer experience, but for years I never understood why not just make the game a massively multiplayer type game. And I think I get it now because all this... Who did that?
Sam, are you letting one off as he's speaking?
No, I haven't had any Mexican or Chinese today, so.
Okay, there you
okay,
go.
I thought somebody was growling in anger, but anyway. No, because I've said that before about other franchises, like, oh man, they should really make an MMO of this, and people just go, I don't want this to be an MMO, and I get why, because I think the MMO nature and the MMO atmosphere would ruin a game like Animal Crossing in terms of really breaking that level of friendship and privacy that Animal Crossing really has. I mean, the game is open enough to where, yeah, you can have people come in and visit your town, but it's not so open that it's just anybody can come in and do whatever they want, because you do get those
space, basically.
You do get those situations where people do come in and take advantage of your town, and that's something that a lot of people deal with MMOs. Like, one of the things I was thinking of now when you guys were talking about swapping items was like, you know what Animal Crossing really could need? An auction house. But I'm like, no, because if they did a public auction house where people could sell their items, that would get taken advantage of so quickly.
Yeah, because you'd see someone with a bell sheet going to a localized auction house and just picking up all the good stuff because they've got 9999 bells.
Well, I was actually talking to a customer that came in, I think it was like a week ago. We, of course, got talking about Animal Crossing because once they mentioned a 3DS, Melissa comes running out of the back room. She's like, do you have Animal Crossing? But that's another story. Apparently, there is an actual website, and I haven't been able to find it yet, but people can take, like, their rare items and actually auction them off online. And basically what they would do, they would just go and do, like, a quick friend code, go into their town, drop it off, do the exchange, and then leave. Because of the person I was talking to actually got an Aurora screen that way. His girlfriend actually did it through the auction website, which I thought was kind of neat. But I just have not been able to find it yet, and he could not remember for life and what it was called. But apparently there is...
acbay.com. It is literally an eBay clone for Animal Crossing. I just found it right now, and it literally looks like eBay, but with Animal Crossing. Like,
that's essentially what he said it was. You just go and you just bid, and then you basically just like a quick friend code swap out, and then you do the exchange. That's all it is.
Man, that's an awesome way to make money.
Yeah, somebody right now is selling a full Rococo set for 500,500 bells. It includes a Rococo candlestick, chair, clock, dresser, lamp, floor, shelf, sofa, vanity, table, wardrobe, and wall. For those of you who are curious on what we're talking about.
I just need the vanity. I'm done.
It's cool. Yeah, I think it's cool, but for one, I've already got the set I want, and I love it. But at the same time, like, I'd be too afraid because I've put so much effort, as sad as it sounds, into this town. I'd be afraid people would do more than come and drop off stuff, you know?
Well,
they'll probably drop off other things too.
Well, the one cool feature about New Leaf, you can actually kick people out of your town.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I really liked that they put in. Like, if you happen to leave your gate open and you forget, and someone comes in your town that you don't want there, you can actually just kick them out. They'll immediately save on their end. It'll save on yours, but you can actually just kick them out and do it that way. So it's a risk with this website to do that, but at the same time, you do have the option to actually take control of the situation and just kick them out.
So can I ask, how would you do that? Would you just go to the options screen and kick them out, or can you actually physically click on the person and kick them out?
You would have to go into the train station and either do like a closed gate or just say like it's time to leave, and everybody that was in the town would actually be booted. Not really booted, but they'd actually just be made to leave. So each person would save, like do like a save point, and then they'd be shipped back to their town, and you would just progress and do whatever you're doing and trying to fix any trolls that they decided to play on your lovely town.
Ah.
Yeah.
So that's a good idea of dealing with it.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with like people like that with trolls. I've had the same issues in Minecraft, but we don't need to talk about it. That was on a past show. If you want to check that out, go to our archives. Now, as you guys were saying, so Miguel, what one are we on now? We passed City Folk. We're on.
We were actually just talking about I was actually just about to switch it over to New Leaf, the last game in the series. I don't know much about New Leaf. You guys probably know more since all of you guys have been playing it. So I guess I'm going to defer to you guys in terms of talking about what's new with Animal Crossing. Because from what I've heard, this one actually takes a turn in that you're actually running the city now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep. And,
you...
did you want to take it, or do you want me to do it? Do you want to?
I was just gonna say, basically, the gist of it is you can. What I've heard of, you can choose not to be the mayor, but the main concept is you get to be the mayor if you so desire, and like it still has the same basic concept of Animal Crossing, you know, with the house, the payments, everything else, but you get to decide what goes into the town and what doesn't. You can do, you start out and you have to like get your approval rating by the citizens by like recycling things, picking up trash, planting flowers, pulling weeds, and getting to know everyone that's in the town already. And once you get that, you get to do like ordinances, what kind of town you want. You can do like, you can choose if your town is like more of a rural area, like flowers and trees everywhere. You can change the hours of certain stores, or you can make it to where your economy is to like the trade value for certain items versus bells is higher, and it's a more thriving economy, which I think is kind of cool. Some people do like to play late at night. You can choose all different types of settings to kind of help you and how you play. Yeah. And you get to do all these different public works projects. You get to set up your town exactly how you want. And I've noticed people come and go in your town more often than other games. People will walk up to you and be like, I'm moving on this is such and such date. And you can either be like, well, see ya, or try to convince them to stay. And a lot of people come in and go out a lot quicker, I've noticed. There's this one guy, I don't know if anyone has him in his town, named Elvis. And I hate Elvis. He's a lion. And I've been trying so hard to get him out of my town and anger him. He came up to me and asked if I could bury a time capsule for him. And I was like, yeah. So I opened it up and I took whatever was out of it and I kept it and I gave him the empty box. And he was livid at me, but he's still here. And I'm like, why are you here?
There's a feature at your town hall. I think you can actually do like what is it? Report. You can like report your
Yeah, you can report the citizens.
Have you done that?
I did report Elvis, and he's still here.
They're going to impeach you at some point. You're going to get a letter of impeachment from your people. That's why I was giggling because I was thinking like, imagine if they really expanded upon it like real world politics and stuff. Like you hear people telling stories about how, you know, they're indicting the mayor of Animal Crossing for emailing pictures of his penis to Tom Nook.
Everyone
people are complaining about people are complaining about your tax laws as far as bells.
I've been nice. Everyone else has been nice and lovely, but Elvis, I just don't like him. And speaking of town hall, Isabel, which everyone knows Isabel, is your little personal secretary, and she helps you out with, like, she gives you recommendation of what kind of, like, the citizen satisfaction and what the people in the town want. And you can choose, like, you get to choose the name of the town. You get to choose the flag. for your town. Mine is a butt. I found
Nice.
I found a QR code for a butt, and you get to even choose, like, in the town, whatever the clock chimes, you get to choose a little town tune and a theme that plays on the hour every hour, which I think is really cute.
Now, I was going to say, how do the QR codes work again? Like, do you just unlock patterns, or can you unlock, like, items or little snacks and stuff?
Most of it is patterns. Like, what I do is, Sable has to give you the QR code, and you download it on your 3DS. And what you do is you can go into the QR code scanner, and basically I literally just hold my 3DS up to my computer. With you go on to I put the website down in the comments on the Skype conversation, and you can scroll through different dresses, hats, shirts, artwork, patterns for, like, the paneling for your town, everything. And you just find the QR code, and it gets you a set of QR codes, and you scan each set, and it puts them all together, and you have a dress, or you have a new rock panel for your bridge or something, and it's really cool. And whenever it asks you to, like, what kind of flag do you want, you can have that option to scan whatever pattern you want, as long as it's not, like, so profane if someone comes into your town and reports it, because they can report you. But I don't really let anyone else in my town other than friends, and they all like my butt flag.
People will actually report your butt flag.
They can. Like, since it's a family, like, it's a game made for all ages, they don't want you having a flag full of dicks on it and a small child coming in, you know.
Well, there goes my swastika flag.
They can report you, but I mean, like, they can't see it. Not like everyone can't see it. It's only people who are invited into your town. So it's a very rare chance that someone's going to report you if all you're doing is letting in your friends.
Well, if I wanted a flag with Dick Butt on it, so, you know, everyone knows who Dick Butt is, don't they?
Yeah. And I've had people come in and change my stuff as well, like, not the flag, like, you have your own power for that, but I had my upstairs dedicated to a lot of my Nintendo stuff, and I had the Triforce as my wallpaper, and someone came in, and I guess they drew their own pattern, and they drew little tiny dicks, rainbow dicks, instead of as my wallpaper. And I'm like, Ronnie, it was Ronnie Brown, Burhan, so just a heads up. Ronnie Brown was
your favorite person.
Yeah, and he said it to Rainbow Dicks, and he'd walk out and just kind of sent me a message saying ha 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 ha, and just left the town. And I had no idea what it was about, so I'm like, all right, whatever. I guess he was just leaving. And I go into my home, and voila, dicks everywhere.
Well, as long as he hasn't, like, put shit everywhere, because then you could just have, like, I don't know, someone basically just having shit all over your house.
It's everywhere!
No, like
There's shit everywhere! Damn it! There's shit on the windows! Oh my god! My house is full of shit! He's shit everywhere!
Oh my god. You really wanted to, the only reason you brought this up is you really wanted to play that sound clip, didn't you?
Yes.
What's up, Internet Wrestling community? This is Anthony Mango of SmarkOutMoment.com, a wrestling website dedicated to the smart marks like you and I. We break down and review every pay-per-view with predictions and spoilers, and you can catch our weekly podcast on YouTube for some smack talk. There's no rules here, and we show no mercy. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter at SmarkOutMoment, where we analyze all the angles, shoot first, and kill kayfabe. That's www.smarkoutmoment.com. Why mark out when you can smark out?
Hello, ladies and gents. Because this show could not be contained within 2 hours, we've decided to go the distance. Yes, I've got Gameplay is continuing, and our topic is Animal Crossing, so let me hand the show back to our designated hosts, Nikki Mills, Samantha Jennings, and Miguel Leon. So take it away, guys.
I didn't realize Animal Crossing could take this long too.
I'm actually kind of surprised. I mean, when Burhan first told me we were doing Animal Crossing, I was like, I don't know what I could offer to this, because my only experience with Animal Crossing was 1 month back in 2006 when I had a GameCube, and a friend of mine and I was playing Animal Crossing, which was kind of upsetting because funny story. At the time I was borrowing this GameCube, I was actually packing up to leave because I was moving out to college, and I was so bummed out when my friend finally came by to pick up his GameCube because I was like, if I left with this thing, you weren't gonna see it back. So I was kind of. Oh, hold on, I'm hearing myself over the. Burhan, I'm hearing myself over you.
No worries, dude. Just keep going. I'll sort that out in a second. It's probably just a difficulty of Blog Talk.
Okay.
As you were saying?
Hold on. Let me just wait. Okay, yeah, this is good. Okay. Sorry about that. I hate hearing my own voice. But with the Animal Crossing thing, I really wanted to keep that GameCube because I love that game. I really did like that game a lot. Like I said, it's just one of those games that you can just go in and just play. You don't have to be in any sort of mood or anything like that. It's not like you're playing towards anything. You can just go in, start, and stop whenever.
Yeah, it literally is. And at the moment, one of the reasons I haven't been getting much done, well, I have been, but in between, I've been kind of neglecting doing my normal day-to-day routine because I've been playing Animal Crossing a lot.
I'm just imagining your children. Where's Daddy? He's playing Animal Crossing.
In front of them, and my daughter got my mortgage paid off, which was actually quite funny because I paid for my first mortgage and I got a second loan to do one of the stories in the house, and she was just like, she goes, "What are you playing, Daddy?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm playing Animal Crossing." So she just took the DS, started playing about with it, and then she's like, "Oh, I got this amount of bells for you," and I just looked like, how did you do what? She goes, "I just sold some fruit to that man in the store," and I was like, "Okay, brilliant. What else?" "I caught some fish." I didn't even know I had, okay, what else did you do? And then found out I've got all this money in my freaking savings account, so I just took it all out, paid off the blooming debt in the town hall, then I had a second story, and I was like, yes. So my kids are actually pretty good. They catch on very quickly.
Yeah, that's one of those, it's one of those games that just, I'm surprised that whole setup hasn't been copied more and more. That's something I was actually going to bring up, Usually when you see a certain formula for Nintendo games, you tend to see it copied by other people. Oh, stars. In the case of Animal Crossing, I have yet to see somebody really make an Animal Crossing type game. And what I mean is a game that is just kind of you just lounging around. You get to customize your place and play with other people. I think the closest thing I could think of is probably PlayStation Home. But I kind of hate PlayStation.
Yeah, but that's a poor man's version. I've tried PlayStation Home and it sucked.
The problem I have with PlayStation Home is there's way too much in terms of marketing. Like everywhere you look, there's a label for a store or a brand or something like that, and everything in there is just way too expensive to be worth anything. With Animal Crossing, it's bells, so you can just kind of go in there and you could buy the good stuff and not have to worry about actually using real money, which is it's one of the reasons why I don't play PlayStation Home as much, if at all.
So yeah, sorry, Nick, go ahead.
We're just talking about how much we love Animal Crossing still.
I'm just kind of killing time right now. I probably won't be on too long just because I can't think of anything else to say about Animal Crossing.
Well, there's this one thing. The one reason I love Animal Crossing so much is it puts things on an emotional perspective, like sharing it with like your daughter, let's say, or like there's this thing I saw on Tumblr that actually made me tear up. It was like this comic somebody drew out, and it was like about a story they had, and the gist of the comic was the boy had bought Animal Crossing, and he had played it with his brother, and they played it for a long time, and they eventually got bored of it and forgot about it, which most 10, 12-year-old kids do. They get bored of things. They get tired of things. His mom had a disease, and she was stuck in a wheelchair for basically the rest of her life and couldn't do anything around the house. So she decided to pick up Animal Crossing, and she played Animal Crossing literally all day, every day. And it got to the point where it actually annoyed the kids. She got every single bug, every single piece of art. She got all of the downloadable content you can get, all of the presents, everything. And how much that she played. And she eventually had passed away. And like a couple of years after she had passed away, the kid picked up Animal Crossing again and started to play it and realized he looked at his mailbox and it was full of what the mother, like she spent all day getting stuff for the kid and like sending him letters and presents and whatnot. And I'm like, why are you doing this to me? Like it doesn't sound like a lot, but in that perspective, and like a simple video game, not even just Animal Crossing, can have that much like sentimental value. And it literally killed me. I think I was like rolling around on the floor. I was like, why would you do this to me?
Oh.
That's fine, because I honestly don't believe it. I think it's one of those sappy stories. People, you tend to see that on the internet. People come up with really sappy stories and say it's a true story. Maybe that's just the pessimist in me, but I don't know.
I understand to a point, but I actually looked into it, and it was actually accurate. So I'm the same way. Like I'm like, this is sad, and so I looked into it and whatnot, and because I'm the same way. People enjoy making up stuff for attention, so I am too like that. So
it's kind of like the Roses story that I once read about, where like some guy apparently paid like some local flower shop to send his girlfriend roses every single anniversary of theirs, even after his apparent death. Like I'm just kind of like, okay, that's just ridiculous. That's one of those. That's a heartstrings one, and I just like I said, half the stuff I read online, you really can't, believe it.
Well, pretty much like creepypastas I'm talking about. Do you know that when they have those horror stories involving games and stuff?
Creepypasta's awesome, though. I'm not pessimistic about that. I love those stories, man.
Some are awesome.
The haunted Pokemon cartridges, those are great.
Some of them are great. No, like the one with the freaking Sonic plushie came out on the TV, not so great.
Oh yeah. Mine that always gets me are like the creepypastas based on like TV shows. Like there's one about SpongeBob that I read once and I've never read it since because it just, you don't want to associate something like SpongeBob with disturbing imagery.
Yeah. Well, that whole show is full of innuendos.
And it's awesome. Keep in mind, I grew up in the 90s, so you want to talk about innuendos, go watch an episode of Rocko's Modern Life now.
I'm an 80s boy that grew up in the 90s, so yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I mean, to this day, it makes me to this day I'm amazed at some of the stuff that they were able to get by in the 90s, man. Like, there's no way half of those jokes would be able to get through today.
Yeah, because everyone's censoring things like to freaking like 100th degree, basically.
I think my favorite one that got by was the one of the bits in Rocko's Modern Life. They were talking about a radio station that played nothing but bagpipe music, and it was called the All Scottish Station, and they had the acronyms spelled out on TV, and I'm like, are they spelling what I think they're spelling?
Or the fact that Rocko actually worked for a sex line.
Oh, that was awesome, where he's just sitting there, like, oh, baby, oh, Rocko, this is Big Head? Slammed the phone down. God, I love that show so much.
That show was actually the precursor to SpongeBob SquarePants. I can't believe I know, with that show, I always watched it. I loved Nickelodeon back in those days. I still do nowadays, actually, because they had such great content. But Rocko was always one of those that I think it went over people's heads back then, whereas for someone like me as a kid, it kind of went over my head. But as an adult, watching it back now, I was just like, my God. Do you know what I mean? How bad is this show in terms of sexual humor? There's like one every minute.
Yeah, I think probably the most raunchiest thing I saw on SpongeBob was the episode where SpongeBob was trying to give Gary a bath, and there's a scene where he pretends he's a pirate, and the tub is treasure, and he pulls up a bunch of bars of soap, and he goes, "Look, Gary, doubloons! Don't drop them."
Yeah. Oh yeah, don't drop the soap. Nice little
and
prison
I'm just like, all right, touche, TV.
Touche, of course.
Let's not forget about the when we were talking about shows that back then you didn't quite catch all those hidden innuendos. Let's not forget Animaniacs.
Oh yeah, that was even one of the worst.
To be fair though, that was Spielberg Animation Studios, so that was done by adults for adults to an extent. I mean, a lot of the jokes, while they weren't dirty, they clearly made references to things that kids just wouldn't know about.
Yeah,
exactly. And
like I think one of my favorite references was the Christmas episode of Pinky and the Brain, where for those of you that don't remember, it's where Pinky and Brain try to infiltrate Santa's workshop by dressing as elves. And there's a part where Pinky goes, "Come on, Brain, let's go over to Donner's house. I hear he's having a Christmas party." And then Brain goes, "Funny, I don't relish being a part of the Donner party." Like that's a funny gag, but that's gonna go over the heads of every single kid who watches that. I mean, there were just so many bits of those. That has to be a topic somewhere down the line, whether it's I Got Gameplay, Geek Speak, or Keeping Kayfabe. We need to do a topic on like cartoons of the 90s versus cartoons of today.
I think that'd probably be something for Geek Speak. Actually, I'll talk to Brandon and Payden about that. Now, going forward on that, Nick, let me ask you guys a question, yourself and Samantha. This question: who? Because you were talking quite before about the worst villager in your town.
Wait, what?
Like in your towns, you've got like the worst villager, the ones that you just want to move out.
Oh yeah.
Who are the shadiest ones?
I'm trying to think who all I have. I know I have this guy called Pietro, and he's a ram. But he is dressed up like a clown, and he's got clown paint on, and he's just hobbling around in his little rainbow outfit with the clown face on 24/7. And the guy asks the weirdest questions. So I'm like, you need to leave now. And then there's also a wolf named Sky, and she had come up to me earlier and asked me like all these different questions, like to determine my personality and what I need to be happy. And she was like, the only thing you need in life to be happy is a pocket knife. And I'm like, what did you just say? Like, so I need to carry a pocket knife to kill people. That will make me happy. And I'm like, some of the things, I mean, there are a couple of characters that are just nothing but sketchy, but I think every character says something that's a little unnerving at least once. And a lot of them have sass, too. A lot of them have big attitudes as well, which I like. I think it's cute. But for me, for me personally, I think it's Pietro. I'll show you a picture of Pietro here.
What about you, Sam? Samantha, you there?
She said she was going. She was out for a little bit. Yeah.
I'm just imagining this guy with the clown face coming up to you and go, "Hey, does this washcloth smell like chloroform to you?"
Oh my god. He's so creepy. He's just so creepy.
And is his name Tenpenny?
Huh?
That was a Stephen King reference to that book.
No, you're thinking of Pennywise.
Pennywise, that's what I'm trying to think. Sorry about that.
Not Tenpenny.
Okay,
Tenpenny
Michael,
is a type
can
of
you
nail.
cue up the sound effect? Because I just hit a face palm.
I put a link to Pietro if anyone wants to take a gander.
There you go, Travis.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So, yeah, there's this other one. I'm just trying to think what her name is. She works in the town hall. She's like this pink duck. Oh, he does look freaking creepy.
That's a Peter Paul.
Yeah, that's the face of somebody who has people hanging in his basement. Like have you ever visited his house? Does he have a loft basement that you're not allowed to go to?
I have no idea. Everything is rainbow though, and he has like kind of like almost like a wheel of fortune thing, like standing up in the middle of his room that's constantly spinning, and I'm like, oh, he's gonna shoot everyone in my town one day. He's just gonna wake up and kill everybody.
He's just gonna come up to you and just be like, "Yeah, I got a sofa. You help me move the sofa in there. You're about a size 16."
He'll be sitting there just like inviting you. Do you want to come into my house? Yeah, just come in here. Yep. This is the basement. Kick. Slams door.
You just start hearing goodbye horses.
Oh god. Now there's this pink. I forgot what her name is, but I don't know if she's a duck or a buzzard or whatever the heck she is. She's every time I go into the town hall, she'll just literally give me sass. I'm going to pay a bill. Oh, it's you again. And then underneath the comment, it's like wishes that you would leave. I'm paying into my savings account. Oh, you've now made 50 billion bells. Now go away.
Are you talking about the lady that works the mail center?
Yes. She's in Wild World. She works in the town hall, which she works the mail and she usually is after dark. Because you have the polite one who works during the day, and then after dark you have this one, and she's the extremely bitchy one. Every time I deposit something, or if I take something out of the account, you're now broke, fuck off, sort of thing. It's not, she wouldn't tell me to fuck off, but she'll say, like, go away, and we don't want you here, and stuff like that. I'm trying to think what her name is. I'm going to actually Google that just a sec, just to find out who she is. But she is really bloody rude.
I think my favorite...
I'm just imagining this character with, like, a ghetto accent, like, got all these bells in here. Why are you coming into this place?
She is literally like that. She seems really ghetto.
They won't put a sister on the day shift. They got a nice white girl up in that night shift. That's why I'm so upset.
my favorite two characters are probably Blathers, the cute little owl in the museum in New Leaf. Like during the day, of course, like owls are nocturnal. He's always asleep. And I go in there to donate something. He's sitting there, like, sleeping, and then he wakes up and, like, all wide-eyed, and he's like, oh, my, like, basically, like, oh, my God, somebody's here. And he's so cute. And whenever you go and turn in, like, a single item to donate, he, like, goes off on this tangent about how that certain item reminds him of when he was supposed to be owl. And I'm like, you're so cute. And my second favorite one is a resident in my town called Felicity, and Felicity's a little cat. And she's so prissy and so sassy, like, not in a bad way. But, like, she came up to me and asked me if, like, to give her a new, like, saying, to, like, her little catchphrase. And I told her to call me Baby Cakes. And now every time she comes up to me, she's like, what's cooking, Baby Cakes? And I'm like, you're so cute.
Now I know.
So, I mean, you do get a couple of residents in there that, like, you just want to, like, hug and, like, pat on the head every day.
This girl, right, she does the night shift, and her name is Phyllis. She's a pink pelican. Have you ever bumped into her?
Yes, I have.
She's just rude. Every time, it's like I go in to, like, deposit my bells or send letters or anything, she just, like, chews me out for being out and about in town. And she's extremely antisocial and arrogant. So if anybody bumps into her, one of her lines is, your balance is 50 billion bells, just kidding, it's actually 0, ha 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 ha.
That's awesome.
That sounds more British. Like now I'm just imagining her in like a posh British accent. Not British accent. You have 15 million bells. I'm sorry, it's actually 0. like the woman that speaks on the Blog Talk Radio voice.
Yeah, the other thing she does, she goes, what? What do you want? Listen, bucko, if you're trolling for a date, you can forget it. Seriously, I wouldn't date a pink pelican. No, she wouldn't. Couldn't consider her. But yeah, so, are there any other characters like that really annoy you guys?
I'm trying to think. Elvis bothers me, like I already said.
I'm gonna actually type his name in the Animal Crossing wiki because I've got the wiki up. So I'm gonna type his name. Elvis is it? I want to see who this guy, what he looks like. Does he say out of my way? I'm looking for bells. And he's a lion, and he looks really cranky.
It's probably Elvis.
His catchphrase is "Ahan."
Elvis, yes, that is Elvis.
He's a brown mane. He's got a yellow body. His inner ears are bright red. I'm going to see one of his catchphrases. What he says.
I hate him.
The reason I decided to play the harpsichord is I'm obsessed, of course. He's just He looks really angry.
Yeah, he does.
Oh my gosh. There's not really much else on him. There's like loads of cranky characters, including Rocco, Roscoe, Kurt. Who's Kurt? Let's have a look who he is. He's a cranky bear villager. He looks really weird. He looks like Miguel. It's kind of weird. This is you if you were a bear, Miguel.
Wait, what's his name?
Kurt. And he wears a jersey that says MVP on it.
Huh.
I'll tell you exactly.
I don't know if that's me, but I guess so.
I'll tell you what does he say? He has the same house as Bitty. He has a variety of furniture. I want to see his personality of that. Okay. He's a cranky personality. His hobbies are usually fishing, bug catching, and hunting for fossils. Occasionally he will speak out of his respect for hobos. He has a manly love for gardening. And he hates seedy salesmen. Oh, that's another one. Seedy salesmen. Have you guys actually bumped into any seedy salesmen during your time playing Animal Crossing?
Wait, what?
Seedy salesmen. You know, people who sell you crap.
Yeah.
Because I remember Shaun was mentioning one on the Fanboys forum. So tell us about that experience.
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Shaun. You mentioned Shaun and then was just like...
No, the other Shaun. Shaun Mitchell, not the other Shaun.
Oh, the big, tall hippie.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Sam just put him down as Red the Fox.
Yeah.
So, tell me a bit about him.
He basically just kind of drifts into other people's towns. A lot of things drift. Like, a lot of people drift. Like, you have the fortune teller, and then there's just one guy. He'll, like, try to sell you, like, pieces of art or, like, famous sculptures and things like that. And then one time, he came in, and, he puts on the famous, like, little sales pitch, and he tries to sell me a wooden box. And I'm like, I don't need a fucking box. And whenever you turn down anything he offers, he gets, like, legitimately upset. And it's just like, it's a box. I could probably sell this at retail for maybe 80 bells. It's a fucking box.
And how much did he try to sell to you for?
About 250 bells.
Bloody heck. That's just...
and it's an empty box, right?
Yeah, there's nothing cute, anything cool in it.
Oh, I thought I was gonna say I thought he was selling it to you because the clown gave it to him.
What, the fox? Or actually literally gave it to him?
Yeah. He just gives it to him and goes. He goes, "You'll know when to give this to somebody." For those of you that haven't caught on, I'm making a Seven reference.
Never seen it.
Oh.
The box.
Yeah. Oh, let's just say the ending is it's fun for the whole family.
Thanks for the heads up. Oh, did I give it away?
Yeah, you just watch it with small children and let them get traumatized for life. So, Shaun was saying on the Fanboys forum about apparently he was buying paintings off of him so he could donate them to the museum, and it turns out that the paintings that he bought were fakes. So this fox would actually sell people counterfeit paintings. And Shaun was like, yeah, I hate his guts, but I have to keep going back to him because I need to get the real one. From what I was saying, and apparently he gets real frustrated with it, but he has like tons of fun while doing it at the same time.
I kind of have respect more for the game that they have aspects like the actual counterfeiters in there.
Yeah,
I kind of have more respect for this game now.
I had a guy like literally come out of when I came out of my house. I believe it was this afternoon. He was selling me insurance.
Oh, I think I have that guy's page put up because I was checking that out. The salesman stuff you're talking about. Is he like an otter?
Yes. And he wouldn't tell me what the insurance was for. He was just asking me loads of random questions and said, "Oh, you need insurance. Buy it for like 250 bells." And he goes, "This insurance will save your life. You definitely need this insurance." And it allowed me to ask him another question. He just got really upset. I was like, okay, I'll buy the insurance. I bought the insurance anyway, and he was like, thanks for that, blah, 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 hat mustache, and then sort of legged it.
Supposedly the insurance is, and I'm reading up on here, you pay him 3,000 bells, and for every time you get injured, which includes tripping and falling or getting stung by bees, you get 100 bells back.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
You really do. You definitely do.
So
Yeah,
I've now got risk insurance from bee stings.
There's one that he'll mess with you though. There's one he'll get like house insurance. Don't do that one because you don't get anything back. He just basically rips you off.
Yeah, it says
like
here
theft insurance or something like that.
It says here a further payment of 6,000 bells on the following Saturday will result in the player receiving compensation of 100 bells if they buy a counterfeit painting, but only if the painting itself is presented to Lyle himself. So I guess if you pay $6,000 bells the following weekend, you'll get an insurance on counterfeit paintings, but you have to actually show him the counterfeit paintings.
Yeah, and that's what the funniest thing as well. It's really, you have these really dodgy characters in game, and these aren't trolls. These are actually in-game characters. So it's like it's a really, really funny aspect on the whole stance of the game. So they managed to incorporate all these real world type guys into this game. So now going off that, before we go, because I know there's we've all kind of worn out the game and just conversation about it. Do you guys want to sort of sound off on it? We'll give you a shot first before you run off. What can you say about Animal Crossing for those who haven't played the game? Just one little sum up.
It's amazing, and you'll fall into the black hole of cuteness.
I'm a little scared.
I mean, it's not like that creepy cute where things just pop out of nowhere. It's just that ridiculously addictive game that just is full of complete nonsense. It's kind of like, it's the nonsense you find from playing Katamari Damacy. It's just nonsense. You just roll stuff up, and this one you basically just pay stuff off.
What about you, Nikki? What would you say if you could say one small sentence to sum this game up?
Ridiculously addictive, terrifyingly adorable, and fun for all ages. Seriously. I highly recommend this to everyone, whether you're 5 or 95. It's incredibly cute, addictive, and it gives you a sense of freedom.
Okay.
I mean, you're a slave for the game, but it gives you a freedom in the game. Yeah, once you play it, you're done.
What about you, Miguel? If you could sum it up, what would you sum it up as?
Animal Crossing, a game so good it's guaranteed to get you into a fist fight. And the reason I say that is because during that small period where I was borrowing a friend of mine's GameCube and I did contemplate actually the possibility of me taking it, I ended up almost getting into an actual fight with my younger brother because he had a file on the memory card we had with it. And so when I told him that there was a chance I would take it with me, he hated that because he wanted to hold on to it. So there was a good shouting match and almost a near physical brawl that almost took place. So that's the strength of Animal Crossing, folks.
Bring our families closer together, one by one.
There you go. So, Shaun, is there anything that you wanna say?
It just sounds like Tamagotchi on crack.
And Jeff? Jeff still disappeared. That's fine. I think the only thing I could say about the game at the moment is it's frustratingly good. To the point where there's times I want to put it down, but I just can't. So, saying on that, guys have done their plugs. You know where to find them if you need to. Also, just as one other little saying that I thought I would use at the end of the show, that is taking a clip from an issue of All New X-Men. He goes, "Is the word mutant derogatory?" And Iceman says, Any word can be derogatory if said with enough derogatory. Pepperoni. There you go. Would you like to go first, Nikki?
Signing out and like what I'm doing and crap, because I'm still playing Animal Crossing, so I'm fading in and out. Basically, if you want to get to know me, like if you want to be my friend and exchange friend codes, you can follow me on Twitter. It's @_N_Mills. So if you want to follow me, message me on there, tweet at me, whatever, and I will determine if I want to give you my friend code. I'm on Animal Crossing every single day for probably the rest of my life. And feel free to talk to me. Other than that, you can find me on fanboysanonymous.com. You can look at the articles I posted. I'm also on the Facebook page. And if you want to message me personally, which, Travis, I just got your message for some reason about the Animal Crossing thing. I will be on there. It's facebook.com/Nikki Mills or whatever. Or you can even just click on my thing on Fanboys Anonymous face page. So that's about it.
Okay. What about you, Miguel?
I'm here to plug the same thing I plug every single week. 90s Kid presents my blog on fanboysanonymous.com. Basically, if you need your fix on old school gaming, like the N64, the Dreamcast, the Super NES, no Genesis yet, I'm still trying to get a hold of that, but basically anything that isn't the NES, because I feel everybody does NES games, take a look. I'm still typing up my article for this week. It's just really hard for me to sit down and actually get around to typing this, but I will have it up eventually. It's for a PlayStation title. I'm not going to say which one, but just stay tuned. I will get it in as soon as possible.
Okay, Travis, what about you?
Mine's pretty simple. Of course, just go to Twitter and just look up Travis Goss. Facebook, same thing. So it's Travis Goss. And by the way, I'll spell that out for everybody. It's Goss. I'm sure my name is in the description of this episode. And I actually started posting YouTube videos, which was mentioned at the top of the show. Did my first one for Fanboys Anonymous. It's called Fanboys Anonymous Video Game Collection, Travis. And just look it up and show you a bit of what games I have in my collection so far.
Sean.
Hello. I'm back. Follow me on Twitter at Shaughnessy2K37, and my YouTube page is Shaughnessy1989, and I also write for Fanboys. Check it out. On Monday I should be finishing up my rant on Fallen Skies. Piece of shit that is.
And Jeff, do you want to plug something? Jeff's not with us.
Nope.
That's okay. Sam, what about you?
Oh, I forgot to give Jeff the code for Animal Crossing. I didn't know if he had it or not.
He doesn't. I was messaging him before. I was going to give him the code, but I don't think he actually has played the game. Go, Sam.
I'm going to do my usual. You can catch me on Twitter at TwinkieJean. It is TwinkiejEan. Same thing with my Facebook, facebook.com/TwinkieJean. Like Nikki said, if you would like to have my friend code, you need to talk to me first, because I don't trust you bitches. I mean, you lovely people.
She's had her account raped more than once.
I've had mega trolls. I don't like trolls because I will troll you back twice as hard, so you know. And then I'm also planning on doing a lot more podcasts with I Got Gameplay. Granted, work allows, so you'll catch me here and there. Haven't done the articles yet on Fanboys Anonymous. I'm working on it. Work too much to do anything, but that's about it.
And as always, just check us out on facebook.com/IGotGameplay, facebook.com Fanboys Anonymous, and also you can check the show out live on Blog Talk Radio as part of Mega Powers, its full weekly lineup, which now includes Keeping Kayfabe. You can check me out on www.nerdgenius.com, fanboysanonymous.com, and youtube.com/TheNerdGenius. I'm currently doing Movie Files Stallone Week as part of my Movie Files 100 Movies in 100 Days, kind of backdated a little bit. That should all be up to date by Sunday, and I'm going to be doing a preview for a new series that I'm producing called This Job for Hire. So check that out, guys. And remember, we've got gameplay. Have you?